Treadray, the captain for Port Adelaide, and Luke Hodge, the captain for the Hawks. Toss of the coin here at Amy Stadium in bright sunshine. Secondary toss, or is it the best of three? Secondary toss, and Warren Treadray wins. I'll be kicking left of the screen as we welcome to the microphone one of the superstars of past. A man who played 300 games plus and a couple of premierships in those 300. Glenn Jakovich, welcome to you, Glenn.
Good afternoon, Dwayne and Danny. Great to be here at Amy Stadium. And the Hawks seem to continue, but as you mentioned before in the pre-game, a lot of their players are working together. So looking forward to a good game.
Well, they've only got 3 players over 150 games.
Yeah.
Jacko, so that's a fantastic game, especially with Crode out at today. So a lot to be asked of the young Hawthorn defence today.
And with Port being number 4 on the hit-outs, want to get off to a good start with the Burgoynes, getting them into a bit of form because they were pretty disappointing here last week.
Players moving to position under bright skies here at Amy Stadium. Perfect conditions for football, no breeze at all. And a couple of late changes to the Hawthorn side, with Roughhead in, having played for Box Hill yesterday and kicking 4 goals. And the other move is Crode out, and Ladson is also out with Ellis replacing him for the Hawks. Peter Burgoyne had to undergo a late fitness test, but he is okay to play. And of course, it's been a tough week for the Williams family with the passing of Mark Williams' mother, Von Williams. There's an empty seat here at Amy Stadium, and there will be for all Port Adelaide games in the future for Mrs. Football, the mother of Jenny, Mark, Stephen and Anthony. And we are underway here at Amy Stadium. First bounce to get 4th versus 7th into action. And the opening takeaway to Lewis. Heads wide.
I think it's going to Burgoyne.
And Sean Burgoyne's down.
Just taking off the ball there a little bit. So Hawthorn exerting a bit of aggression early at the centre bounce down.
So Sean Burgoyne, the recipient of the free.
He was just off the ball there. We see Sean Burgoyne holding his... Just see him here, just fumble the ball.
In the back, that's a charge.
So the opening free, and Ebert gets on the end of the pass at half forward. Chip kick towards attacking 50, and Damon White, who we highlighted in the intro, takes the mark and passes to Treadray, who would have thought he was lining up on Trent Crode this afternoon, but it's Danny Jacobs who's got him with Crode not playing.
Well, positive signs already for Port. White and Treadray getting a little bit of a piece of the ball early do wonders for their confidence, especially Treadray, Jack. He's been a little bit quiet the last few weeks.
He certainly has. I mean, his leading, his jumping has been a feature of his game throughout his career, and seen him just move there. He moved quite freely, so it looks set for a good afternoon.
From 45 metres out, kicking to the Port Adelaide end, and he's hit the post. Only a behind to Warren Treadray, who's had some pretty good outings against Hawthorn in the last few occasions they've met. Players going down left, right and centre off the ball.
Jordan Lewis and the Corns boys are into it.
And Treadray
paid it
with Ellis, and there is a free kick behind play. It'll go to Warren Treadray.
Oh, he's paid the mark.
Okay. So Treadray pokes it inside 50. The lead comes. Half a spoil, and Westhoff, the first gamer, takes the mark in front of goal, and he can join that illustrious club of players who've kicked one with their first kick.
Well, he's 199 centimetres, recruited from Central Districts, a Barossa Valley boy, Jacka, so let's hope he can join that club.
Well, he just let out well, a lot of confidence there. Nice overhead mark, contested. That'll go down as a contested mark, so good start for the young fella.
So Justin Westhoff in game number 1, and he has kicked goal number 1.
Well, what a great start for Port Adelaide. They've had 2 inside 50s. Young Justin Westhoff playing on Birchall. Birchall's giving away a lot of height there. Without Crode, it looks like Port are trying to stretch the Hawthorn defence.
Yeah, well, they're very tall there. And well done. I mean, Warren Treadray, the captain, brought the young fella into getting an early touch. He probably could have gone back and kicked it. He would have made the distance there, Warren. But good to see all the Port Adelaide players get over there and just show a lot of enthusiasm, because that's what was lacking in their game last week.
First goal of the career of Justin Westhoff, picked 71 in last year's draft, first season on the list. He is 20 years of age, so he has got some experience behind him at Central Districts. Ball back in the centre. Lee Colbert on the boundary line.
Yes, the conditions are perfect. Dwayno down here. The crowd are getting into it early. Keep an eye on Peter Burgoyne. He did have an early fitness test, but Nathan Cracker out of the side because of shin splints was actually warming up in the room. So get back to the game.
Sean Burgoyne kicks inside 50 and it rolls out of play. We'll get a ball in.
Well, what a great sign from young Westhoff again. Just backing back into the pack. He's just kicked a goal, Jagger, and now he's just backed into a pack. So he's had the lot in the first 3 minutes of his league career.
Welcome to the AFL. But as we see Peter Burgoyne, that was about 10 minutes before the bounce down. He'd done a couple of sprints there, so we'll just keep an eye on his fitness.
From the ball in, Port Adelaide have started better this week than they have the last couple of weeks against the Swans and Geelong. And we'll get another ball up inside 50 for Port Adelaide.
Well, you got that match up there with Campbell Brown on Ebert Spud as he started.
Also, we've got Sean Burgoyne and Brad Searle has got in for the day. Brad Searle, the Hawthorn tagger.
Lewis tried to get it away. And a push free kick, another one to Port Adelaide.
Well, they're first of the ball at the moment, Port. Hawthorn are just giving away a couple of free kicks by being second to the ball. And we talked about it during the pre-game. Matty Primus in the interview said they did a lot of one-on-one contesting work before the game, Jacko.
The old-fashioned 2-on-2. So the intent's all what it's about, their intensity. But Port's intent in these first 5 minutes, Mark William and the match committee will be very pleased.
So Brendan Lade to line up. He'll kick from just inside 50. Hawthorn yet to go inside 50 for the game, and Lade, his normal, accurate self.
Well, Brendan Lade, he's a fantastic player, not only around the ruck work, but just his ability to push forward. He's going to go to most stoppages here, and we just see Lade there trying to shepherd the ball, and there's no doubt Lewis got over the top of Lade. But have a look at the Corns boys there. That was the thing that Mark Williams will be absolutely wrapped with, Glenn. The ability to get first hands on the ball. Something has been lacking the last couple of weeks. And there's no doubt the training they've done during the week is starting to pay some dividends early.
He's kicked 8 goals, 1 now this season, Brendan Lade. For a big man, one of the most accurate kicks in the competition. 149 for his career.
Well, it's 9 possessions to 0 at the moment. Hawthorn have not touched the ball.
And the ball up, Lade wants to reassess his run in. Sean Burgoyne off the deck to the wing. Forced to pursue it. Does so. Sewell, Crawford. Some possessions for Hawthorn. Campbell. Bateman, who captained the side last week in Indigenous round. Douglas Mitchell. Good tackle. Well, it was said before this game that with the passing of Von Williams during the week, Mrs. Football as she is here in South Australia, or especially down Port Adelaide way, that beware the first Port Adelaide player who doesn't hit in early. From the ball up.
There's the ruck tap from Lade. Perfect.
Bentley. And now Salopek. Wobbles it inside 50. Tackle Lade. And have to be a ball up. Lee Colbert. Got a light shower at the moment passing over us.
It is, mate. It's just starting to a light shower. The crowd has all gone for their ponchos, so yeah, not sure how long this is going to last, big fella.
As opposed to last week when a few Port Adelaide people left about this time of the game. From the ball up, down to Corns. Chad caught, dumped. Umpire Pace holding the ball. Free kick Hawthorn.
Good tackle there. Chad just had to get the ball out in that situation there. But at the moment, we've got 4 inside 50s to Port. The ball hasn't been over the Hawthorn half centre line.
Well, it's just good pressure.
De Guerra, ex-Port Adelaide player. A couple of them out there. Gillum as well. And Crawford on the wing. Sends a long bomb towards Franklin. Front spot. No mark paid, and that could be in the back against Franklin. No, it's not. You're allowed to do that now. Well, no free kick to Salopek.
Give him the benefit of the doubt there. Notice Franklin just starting up in the midfield. So, yeah, the ball did hit the ground there.
Good decision.
From the ball up. Old toe poke inside 50. Boyle attacks it. Loney got the handball up. Tucked into the boundary line. Still alive. And a free kick off the ball, and it'll go to Peter Burgoyne. It's been a hot start despite the rain.
Well, it's good that Hawthorn have responded to this because they find themselves 2 goals down early in the part, but they've responded and they've been quite physical in this last couple of minutes. So both sides going at it, feeling each other out.
Laid. And now the short to Treadray.
Well, positive signs for Treadray, Dwayne. It's been a little bit staying close to home. It's moving freely, and of course Damon White.
That's what he wasn't doing last week, Spud. He wasn't leading up. That's the true Warren Treadray, right up against the wing and then ducking back and getting that second possession. As you see him now, he's already at the centre half forward position, moving back in the forward 50.
Kane Corns to Ebert. Chip kick to Westhoff again, tucked up against the boundary. And wasn't allowed to play on.
He's a likely type. Yeah. He's tall, but he's got a good set of wheels on him. He's very quick.
And comes from a big footballing family. His younger brother is a star in the junior grades for Central Districts. And his older brother plays for Centrals in the Sandful as well. Peter Burgoyne inside 50 towards Westhoff, who flew. Got there for the contest. Couldn't bring the mark down. Chip kick is good. McGlynn. It's been in magnificent form. His pass a little wide for Osmond, but he'll pounce. He left it behind. Now he sizes them up. Caught by Pettigrew on the kick. And a mark taken by Boyle.
That was a magnificent kick there from Osborne. He just sensed that Wakeland was playing in front. And one thing about Darryl Wakeland, he's a very good defender, but sometimes he just allows his direct opponent to get in behind him there. But Osmond just assessed the situation beautifully, as we see here. Good pressure on the kick, but just kicked the ball over Wakeland's head, and a good mark by Boyle.
Kicked 3 goals last week. Tim Boyle, 3 straight. Another accurate kick in the competition. 18-10 for his season so far. And they've got their opener at last.
Well, good play by Hawthorn. I mean, the first chance they really went in their forward 50 with any conviction. They scored and scored well. I mean, Osmond centred the ball there quite nicely, but good play. I mean, they've been a side that just works for each other and working the ball in. It's what Alistair Clark would be wanting.
Well, we've got Peter Burgoyne coming off the ground with Bateman, and straight on the ground is Sean Burgoyne and his direct opponent, Searle.
19th goal of the season for Tim Boyle. And Sean Burgoyne back in the middle. All the Port Adelaide players, of course, wearing armbands this afternoon for the Williams family. From the ball up. Laid. To work his way around Taylor.
He's doing what he likes at the moment, Laid.
Kane Corn's got the handball, stolen by Hodge, gives to Taylor. Chip kick. Dixon didn't get the free. Osborne inside 50. Bouncing ball. Wakeland sits under it. Tackled and tackled well. Boyle tries to steal it. Does. Can he get the snap away? He does. It's across the face slightly. And Sean Burgoyne was waiting for it.
Well, let up there. Pettigrew is on Osborne. Slipped over twice because of these greasy conditions, Jacko.
Yeah, good lead here by Damon White. Had to really come up, give an option there for Chad Corn. So good switch of play there.
It's amazing. The weather started really sunny, Dwayne, and Pettigrew already has slipped over twice. So you might have to look at the footwear.
13 plays 6.
Actually, we've got Dixon here on the boundary line walking over to the bench just in front of Lee Colbert. Roughhead standing on the boundary line.
Is he going to change his boots?
No, I think he's gone for the day by look at Ben Dixon.
Cassisi, that's bad news. Salopek, Bentley. Guerra comes at him. Ties it up, Brent Guerra. Taylor. Lewis. Salopek. To Sean Burgoyne. Inside 50 to White. And he gets a free kick for too high, Damon White.
Well, he got caught under the ball there a little bit, and there's all good key forwards. You've got to push back into it, and that's what he did. He just pushed back into it and forced the direct Hawthorn in Gillum in reaching over and put a hand on his shoulder.
It's been a little inaccurate this year. 7 goals, 12, and 2 behinds without a goal last week, Damon White. So he needs this to boost his confidence for a better afternoon at the office. That's what he has in front of him. To make it a 3-goal-to-1 start for Port Adelaide, and he paid on it. It's there.
Well, great start for Port. Damon White in particular, we talked about him pre-game. The defence really rely on him getting the ball. You see Port there, just great play there from Burgoyne on Searle. But you're right, Jugger, he jumped early. He backed back into Gillam and wore the free kick. That was great play, but again, it started in the middle of the ground. Brendan Lade, the clearances at the moment are 7-2. Lade is absolutely having a field day here at the moment. You can have a go at the Hawthorn defence, but it's the midfield where it's starting.
Ben Dixon is off. Lee Colbert on the boundary.
Very frustrated. Ben Dixon came off, kicked the bench, went straight up the race. Looks like some sort of leg injury and walked off the ground, so not happy, the boy.
So bad news for Ben Dixon if that's another hamstring injury. Turns 30 years old this month, Ben Dixon. So starting to tip over the mountain age-wise. Kane Corns the clearance. Port Adelaide have started well. Salopek gathers, runs inside 50, sizes them up, and a big leap by Ebert on the goal line behind.
Well, if you want to know how to ruck work and what's the best technique, Glenn, just go and get the last 7 minutes of Brendan Lade's ruck work. It has been absolutely sensational.
Certainly has.
Best and fairest and all-Australian last year. Brendan Lade confirmed his class to everyone, even though everyone at Port Adelaide knew about it well before last year. That's a terrible kick. Young has turned it over, and Pearce, speaking of last year's sensations, last year's NAB Rising Star winner, will line up.
And Dwayne, that's because of the good setup of Port. Their pressure, they're zoning off the back here, forced Hawthorn the turnover there for Pearce to just intercept and take a mark there. So good work down the field by Port in creating a zone defence.
Daniel Pearce from 40 metres, virtually directly out, across the face slightly. It's across the face a lot, and it's written on his face, disappointment are behind.
Well, 6 scoring shots to 1 here in the first 15 minutes. Port would like to be a little bit further ahead.
Quick bring in to Jacobs on the move. Now Hodge on the wing. Salopek hunts him down. Hodge normally uses it well, does so this time. Sewell. Gillam having an outstanding season. Sidesteps, sends it inside 50. Big fly and a good mark's been taken by Surgeon. Chad Corns.
Damon White's everywhere at the moment.
And White marks this. It's got Pearce on short. Ignores that, back into the corridor. Had both the Cornses. Kane about to get caught. Franklin's got him. Gone.
Well, that was set up by the Hawthorn players, just corralling Corns. They didn't go at him, and the tackle coming behind from Franklin. Great setup there, as we just see Corns.
Franklin's kick's terrible to Loney.
Well, just the awareness there by the Port teammates. I mean, he had his brother there, just a bit of voice. Take the mark and just hold it.
Salopek wide. Westhoff's got 2 to beat. And that's a win for him. Out of play.
Did very well there.
Yeah, I've been impressed so far with the young fella's
Both of us have,
game.
mate, because he just hit that pretty hard. He knew what he had to do there. He knew he was going to be able to mark it, but bring it down because he was 2-on-1 and forced the ball over the boundary line.
This is where Hawthorn are struggling. The ruck stoppages. Lade's having a field though. It's great to see Taylor at least get a tap out there.
Chad Corns, though, received it to Loney. Pearce.
Too much of a leg rope at the moment from Hawthorn to Port. They've just got to play hip on hip.
Off hands, Young. Bounces away from Treadwell on the slippery turf. Not the best move. Nor is Hick giving it to Taylor on the run.
Throw.
Free kick Salopek.
Well, just a few unforced errors here by both sides in particular, but...
and off the ball, it's a free kick to Treadwell.
Against Luke Hodge. And a 50.
Well, they're going to take control here.
Oh, it's going to be a 50-metre penalty anyway. So the free kick downfield could have been taken, or the 50-metre penalty. Obviously, the 50 takes it a little closer. So another certain goal coming up for Port Adelaide, and a move on the bench. White coming off after being dominant. And the other first gamer, Robert Gray, gets a run.
Well, free kicks at the moment. Port 6, Hawthorn 2, but the reason for that is Port are first of the ball.
First in, and the 2 Burgoyne brothers, I mean, Sean's been down in previous weeks and he's already had 5 possessions, but his takeaways from Brendan Lade's work has been fantastic.
Salopek from 35. nails it.
Well, at some stage, Jacker, the Hawthorn players have to say, well, Porter got all the momentum. We just have to man up and start to win a contest.
Well, when you see a run-on like this, 4 goals to 1, and winning a lot of the stoppages and clearances, the onus just goes up on the individual to man up. 9-2 in the centre clearances. So Hawthorn just got to take stock and man up and be responsible for your direct opponent.
Well, they've got a bit of respite here. Nothing against DeLuca, but he's no Brendan Lade, so Hawthorn need to capitalise here.
First goal of the afternoon for Stephen Salopek, who was part of the trade that saw Peter Everett move from the Saints to Hawthorn back in 2002. Salopek taken by Port Adelaide with pick 6. And he's been a good pick-up. From the ball up, McGlynn. It's away from Cassisi. Left foot kick is wide, though. Franklin. Pursued by Wakeland. Little fumble. Franklin, boundary line. Out of play.
Well, it's a good start. Nothing against young DeLuca, but this is where Hawthorn need to win some clearances here against the inexperienced young ruckman. As we see Franklin just fumble the ball there.
Yeah, clean play. Usually got to take that first bite at that. Hawthorn have dropped the man in the Port's defence here, so they've got an extra man down here exposing Jacob Surgeon out here. He's got no one on him at the minute.
So Surgeon collects, and the 1-2 with Loney. Straight down the middle. Got the kick away. High inside 50 in the first game. It takes the mark.
Well, will he join his new game of Dwayne in joining that illustrious club? Well,
so Robert Gray, he's only just come on. He hasn't had a kick yet. Westhoff kicked a goal with his first kick in AFL football. Over to you, Robert. In Stuart Dew's old number 17, so distance shouldn't be a worry. He's missed.
Unlucky. Stretching, but well done by Jacob Surgeon then, because his direct opponent was dropping in the hole there. So he could have just ran down. He had his bounces and could have bombed it down there, but he found a right target there and made sure he didn't kick it in the congested area.
And also the 2 first gamers, the first possessions are contested possessions. Mark Williams will be absolutely wrapped with that.
Crawford, Smith. 28 plays 6. 4th versus 7th on the AFL ladder. Guerra. Ellis. Bateman.
Hawthorn just need to hit some targets for the next couple of minutes. Just deny Port the ball because Port are white hot. So just play some possession football for a while. That'll be smart play.
McGlynn to Young. Franklin leads to the pocket. Poked inside 50 and the mark's taken by Boyle.
Well, when they've moved forward with their foot skills, Hawthorn, very good against West Coast last week going into their forward 50, and that was because their foot skills, their efficiency was at a very high rate. So that's what they're going to be doing. Just hang on the ball a little bit more, be a bit patient, make sure you find the right target.
Tim Boyle has kicked all of Hawthorn's score in this game so far, and we've played 21 minutes. And he's still got all of Hawthorn's score. It's 1 goal 1.
Well, Hawthorn have been inside their forward 50 6 times for 1 goal 1. Glenn, I've never seen this before. Port have been in 9 times for 4 goals 4. Nearly every time they go in, they score.
Scoring.
Thurstons. Loney is having an influence at the moment. Loney gets to hurry up. He's trying to calm it down at the moment. Port Adelaide know they're looking good on the scoreboard. No need to do anything crazy. Surgeon gets it from Wakeland. Gives it to Pearce. Now sends it long. DeLuca. Roden. Lewis pursues. Roden takes them on.
Good
Shoots
speed.
the handball back to Loney, who's everywhere at the moment. Centering kick.
Oh,
Big
courage.
clinch. Great commitment. Sean Burgon around the body. He's paid the price, but he's paid it for a reason. A Port Adelaide goal.
Take a bow, Stephen Salopek. That is courage personified, Glenn.
I think he's in a bit of trouble, mate.
Well, look, hopefully he's okay, but you have a look in here. The hip of Joel Smith has collected Salopek right on the head, unfortunately.
Well, that's the sacrificial act of the year. I mean, that was fantastic. He's been in good red-hot form in this first quarter.
And some people say league players are overpaid. We'll just go and watch that.
Salopek is out. He is bleeding from the head, and he's okay in the hands of trainers. At least he's conscious
Have a
now.
look at this here on the replay, Dwayne. Oh, it's Joel Smith. The hip bone has hit his head, and he was out cold before he hit the ground. But tell you what, Port, they have come to play, and that was one of the most courageous things I've seen, Glenn, in my time in football.
I can't think of anything more courageous. I mean, running with a flight, and he got hit right on the button, probably on the hardest part of the body of the opponent. But looks like looks a bit better there. So let's hope he's gained consciousness and he can take his place back in this game, because that was just fantastic.
Well, we always talk about paying the price for your team. Port Adelaide scored a goal from his commitment.
Well, you talk about the badge of honour. Well, he's got that today. That is... Oh, hell. Let's hope he's all right. That was just a magnificent piece of courage.
There's no doubt whatsoever that Port Adelaide have said today that they're going to show that commitment in support of Mark Williams and the Williams family in general. And there's one man, Stephen Salopek, who would know what Mark Williams is going through this week with the loss of his mother. Stephen Salopek lost his at a very early age in a tragic accident. And his commitment today has been inspirational again.
Well, you can't deny what happens behind closed doors. We only look at it from afar. And obviously Port have had a good chat about things over the last couple of weeks. By all reports, a pretty spirited training session on Wednesday. And what I've seen in the first 20 minutes of this game, they've really come to play today for a whole range of reasons.
Well, if anything, this delay will suit Hawthorn, just to slow the momentum, a bit of the pace, and just take stock.
Well, again, 10 inside 50s, 5 goals for.
Well, the Port bench get up. All the players have got up.
Well,
they've acknowledged his courage.
Well, you see a lot of things in football, Dwayne, but courage personified there. He's got the badge of honour.
He's going to walk off. I think that's a good sign.
Fantastic. And rightly so. All the crowd are just up as one. That's just fantastic for football. You see the Port supporters showing their appreciation for a kid who's just showed a hell of a lot of courage. He's been in and out of the team somewhat. He's had 6 disposals, kicked 1 goal, 3 inside 50s. But that hit there won't come up in the disposals, Jacko. No. I'm sure that'll be played on the tape for weeks to come from Mark Williams and the Port players.
There won't be a lot said by Mark Williams at quarter time, half time and 3/4 time. He'll just mention Salopek's running back with the flight, and if that can't motivate you for the rest of the year, then you shouldn't be playing the game.
Well, it's got me going.
And just talking about the Williams family in general, of course, Mark's father was captain coach of this club, Foss, and it's a long tradition they've had with this great club of Port Adelaide. And Mark's brothers, of course, Stephen and Anthony, who was lost to us during his football playing days. Anthony Williams, Stephen, a great player with Port Adelaide as well, and Jenny would be here, their sister, as well this afternoon. The bloodlines of this great club. And Port Adelaide at the moment lead 34-7 with 5.5 minutes left to quarter time. From the ball up, Mitchell. Handball out. Campbell. Smith. Shoots it back to Sewell. Wide ball. It's all about the bounce. Okay, but Young had to wait for it. Got pushed from the back.
Good
Crawford spears it to Bateman. Runs to 50.
Top of the square.
Centering kick. Tough one to mark. Hodge, a little bump. Wakeland, great tackle. Franklin, dispossessed. Osman a chance to pounce. Well played, Pettigrew. Body on the line. Hodge, Boyle, slips it around the body, and he's scored it. He's got both goals.
Well, just good play by Hawthorn. I mean, they rushed it in. Good vision there by Crawford to Bateman. But what they did, just their work inside their forward 50. And sometimes forward can get criticised for just letting the ball come out easy. But they just harassed, kept the ball alive. Hodge got the handball out. Ball broke a tackle. That tackle had to be stick there. But an opportunist, found a bit of room, snap, great goal. Good response considering they were dominating this game, Port.
Well, it was great to see Mitchell get a possession there and result in a goal. Only had the 2 possessions. Kane Corns has got him for the day.
Played every game this year, Tim Boyle. His 5th season on the list has been his best. Drafted back in 2002, but of course had that horrendous leg break in the pre-season of 2004 and sitting back for over a year. From the ball up, DeLuca hit the deck with Taylor. We'll get a secondary ball up.
Well, Jared Rafford's already on the ground because of Ben Dixon going off. Alistair Clarkson, he's planning before the game with Crowd out. Would have thought, Rafford, let's get about 20 minutes out of him, 10 minutes a quarter. He's there for the game now.
DeLuca and Taylor tie up. They dance. Pearce, Surgeon. And now Kane Corns. Spears the pass. Too far for Robert Gray. And we'll get a ball in. Lee Colbert.
Stuart Cochrane, the Port Adelaide runner, was running around to his charges, just letting him know to hold the game up the last 5 minutes. They were happy with the lead, but unfortunately Boyle kicked that goal.
Former Port Adelaide player as well. Former teammate of Lee Colbert's too, I think. Ball back into play. Taylor. Mitchell. Dispossessed. Peter Burgoyne. Free kick. And it'll go Hawthorn's way to Mitchell. He was dumped after disposing of it legally.
Well, Port need to get Brendan Lade on the ground. Hawthorn have got into the game since Lade's been off. So, yeah, we'll see that change now, Glenn.
Smith got it from Guerra. Good handball to Birchall. And Franklin on the move. Strong hands and a little ride from Pettigrew. Not 50.
Good to see Buddy into it. He had a fumble over that outer wing. He'd soon to forget. But with this big ground at Amy Stadium, he's got to get on his bike because he's an athletic type who cause all sorts of problems for any defender. Just got to get him out and leading and get him on the run, because a couple of weeks ago when he was kicking his bags of 6 and 9s, that was what he was doing.
He hasn't had a big couple of games since kicking that 9 against Essendon a couple of weeks ago, and he's still not got his kicking boot on this afternoon. That hasn't scored.
It was a positive sign, though. He led hard at the ball and had his arms extended. Took the ball out in front of his eyes, which is a great grab. Lade, as we saw a minute ago, back on the ground, so good news there for Port.
Kane Corns saying calm it down. 3 minutes to quarter time. 34 plays 13. Short pass, Surgeon. One of the 4 Port Adelaide players named as NAB Rising Star nominations last year. Jacob Surgeon. It's game number 32. Spears it to Pearce, the man who won the award. And he was grabbed, not in possession, free kick.
We'll start on the bench, Pearce. He started the game beautifully since he's been on the ground.
Got 3 Brownlow votes, best on ground last time these 2 teams met, which was round 11 last year here at Amy. Daniel Pearce, kick to the wing. Birchall's fist wins out. We'll get a ball in.
Well, we'll get a good look at the ruck duel here with Taylor and Lade. You've just got to watch Lade get in underneath Taylor's arm and try and body him out to open up for his on-balls. You just see, try and get him in underneath. That was better from Taylor.
Back into him. Handball up from Sean Burgoyne. It's a bit too wide for Robert Gray. And another ball in. Sean Burgoyne.
Just going back into this ruck. That's better from Taylor in front. If he allows him to get to the side, Lade will just push you under the ball. So better play here from Taylor.
34 plays 13. Kane Corns the recipient. Kick to half forward. Gray lays the tackle, appeals for the free. Doesn't get it. And we'll get a ball up. Robert Gray from East Burwood. Oakley under 18s. And he'll get a free kick here, the first gamer.
Yeah. Well, you're not allowed to grab the player above the jumper. It was held on the neck and a free kick for too high.
And the kick not so good. Cassisi couldn't get near it. Lays the tackle. Turns it over. Kane Corns. Sean Burgoyne. Free kick will come back.
Well, at least Hodge is trying to do something. He's playing aggressive football, but just had to go low at the arms there, as we see here. Just too high with the arms. Just tackle low around the hips.
Professional free kick. He's held it up.
Well, at least he's flying the flag, Luke Hodge.
Jack Corns to Tredray. Flies. His hands are on today.
We can see from the word go, Glenn, that the skipper He's had 3 or 4 games under his belt now, and he's just presenting at the ball and jumping off the ground, which is really important.
Well, Spud, you mentioned it before. Obviously, we see him leading there, and he's just up and leading and jumping. But the forwards struggled to get ball last week. They got criticised, him and White mainly, but started with the midfield because the midfield are getting their hands on the footy a fair bit.
From the 50, starts at left. It won't come back for Warren Tredrea. 2 behinds so far, but he's kicked some bags in recent games against Hawthorn. The last 4 games, 3 goals, 7 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals. And against some players who are not playing this afternoon, Trent Croad and Zach Dawson among them. Danny Jacobs, Tredrea's opponent today. Mitchell got it from Young. Birchall. Taylor.
Oh,
High
good
bomb.
luck.
And it'll come back because that wasn't to advantage Hawthorn free.
Just going back onto Tredrea, the positive sign that I saw there, Glenn, he jumped off the ground 2 weeks ago in Sydney. He couldn't get his big toe off the ground. It's great to see him jump and leap.
Well, it takes time. Obviously, you just need more game time.
Birchall inside 50 finds Boyle, who's playing a lone hand at the moment for Hawthorn. He's still kicked their entire score of the quarter, and that is likely to stay that way with 40 seconds and counting left on the clock. And he'll have probably the last shot of the term.
Good use of the body there on Wakeland. Just pushed him off just before the ball landed in his arms.
Deliberate run up. It'll come back a little, but not enough. Only a behind.
Well,
so 2 goals, 2 to Hawthorn and to Tim Boyle.
He's a lone hand down there. He needs a bit more support from some of his forwards. Buddy Franklin, a few others just need to support him down there and finish off his good work.
21 points the margin. Port Adelaide just mopping the last few seconds up without turning it over, although we'll get a ball in with 6 left.
Well, you can see the Port Adelaide runner there near the stoppage, just going around all the Port boys to say, boys, there's only 10 or 15 seconds to go. Let's slow it down.
Stuart Cochrane in David Arnfield's absent this afternoon, not running for Port Adelaide there. Normal runner. And it's quarter time here and it's still willing. Perfect conditions for football, bright sunshine. These 2 teams playing for a crack at 2nd spot on the ladder tonight, depending on other results. Hawthorn coming in this afternoon from 4th spot and Port Adelaide from 7th. But it's quarter time here at AAMI Stadium and the natives are happy. 5-5-35 to 2-2-14. 21-point lead to Port Adelaide at quarter time here at AAMI Stadium. It's a different harder Port Adelaide this week so far. 5-5-35 to Hawthorn 2-2-14, and a number of ones goal scoring wise for Port Adelaide. Salopek, who may not play any further part in the game, Lade, Burgoyne, White and Westhoff with his first kick in AFL football. And for the Hawks, it's Boyle with 2 goals in the opening term.
Well, they're absolutely sensational. We saw on the footage there, it was Port. Their intent to win the ball and take the body on was fantastic. It started with Lade. Probably the beauty for the Hawthorn Football Club at the moment. They've got a chance to reassess. Port have really come to play.
Well, they certainly have, but the stoppages there is 10-6, so they want to continue dominating that area.
Alistair Clarkson on screen, addressing his team. Won't be happy with the opening quarter from Hawthorn, but a lot of football still to be played. Perfect conditions at the moment as well here at AAMI Stadium. Bright sunshine, little shower earlier, but looks to have passed. A few clouds in the sky, but we're hoping no more rain this afternoon here at AAMI Stadium. 21-point lead to Port Adelaide at quarter time. Lee Colbert.
Ben Dixon came off, gentlemen, in that quarter, in that marking contest. He's hurt his right groin, so it looks like he won't come back on. Stephen Salopek, well, as courageous as you'll see in a game of footy, he's got a broken nose, a little bit of blood, and once again, probably won't take any further part in today's game.
Thanks for that, Colby. Great commitment shown by Stephen Salopek. It's still horrendous to watch it in replay, but magnificent commitment. Brendan Lade on screen.
Well, he's been on fire, Dwayne. He started the ball rolling, start of the first quarter. So Robbie Campbell here, they've got a big job just to try and quell his impact on the game.
Well, that made it easier for Campbell. Terrible bounce to start this second term from umpire Vozzo. Mitchell was dumped. Surgeon trying to sneak a handball out. Symes couldn't get it out either.
Well, they've had a bit of problems today, Dwayne, and bouncing. The last 3 or 4 have gone astray.
Umpires this afternoon, Michael Vozzo, Stuart Wen and Kieran Nichols. And that's a little better from umpire Vozzo. Campbell took it out of the air, kicked a half forward. Wakeland attacked it, bumped, dished off a handball. Pettigrew sends it out of the area. Tough bouncing ball. Made it perfect for Gray. His kick not so good. And it's out of play.
Well, Tim Boyle there should have tackled Darryl Wakeland here. We just see, not Tim Boyle, sorry. Young McGlynn had to tackle. No, he's bumping if they stand on the ground. You have to really tackle with the arms and pin Wakeland.
And the ball in. Campbell and Lade. Campbell appeared to get a palm on it, but it was down in the Chad Corns direction. Kicks it off the deck. Lewis corralled by Tredrea. Comes at him now. Mitchell. Campbell-Brown. Nice handball out wide to Jacobs. Ebert chases him. Kicks inside 50 to Hodge. Got hands to it. Wakeland the crumb. Dished off the handball just in time. Peter Burgoyne, Kane Corns, Michael Pettigrew. And now Robert Gray on the wing. He's got 2 to beat here, the first gamer. Taps it to his own advantage. Takes them on.
Strong through the
Beats
hips.
them both. Chips it inside 50. Sensational. David White, man in the goal square. The other first gamer. Westhoff. And 50.
He's going to give it.
Yeah, and rightly so. What a magnificent play, Dwayne. Well called. The young fellas there, Gray and Westhoff.
Wow.
This is exciting.
I mean, don't they show what enthusiasm's all about? I mean, that's just brilliant to watch. Well done to the two, and young fella's going to come in and kick his second goal.
So this will be 2 goals from 2 kicks for Westhoff. Welcome to footy.
Well, just the poise by Gray. I mean, he had to win the first contested. He didn't go to ground. That's the most important thing. Rode the tackle, then just... Well, I mean, that's Chris Judd stuff for a first gamer, and then hit a target. So, I mean, well done, Damon White, spotted up to find Westhoff. But, yeah, just good poise from the 2 young guys. Haven't been overawed by their first game. Well done.
Well, again, 14 inside 50, 6 goals, 5. So 11 scoring shots for 14 inside 50s.
Justin Westhoff wearing Jacob Surgeon's old number 39 in his first game. Jacob Surgeon's moved to number 9.
Well, no Trent Crowe today. Late withdrawal before the game is really impacting on the ability for Hawthorn to match up in their defence at the moment.
Campbell and Lade. Campbell read it nicely, but still not a decisive palm down to a teammate. Sewell, Bateman, Mitchell, Young. Better movement. And a long kick. High kick in the Franklin direction. Couldn't get a fly at it. Cassisi. Strength spins out of the tackle. Peter Burgoyne. Wakeland. Cassisi. Thurstons if he wants. He wants. And it's just 15.
The moment when there's a loose ball, there's outnumbered Port players to Hawthorn. So if there's 2 Hawthorn, there's 3 Port. If
That's
there's
just
3
work rate.
Hawthorn, there's 4 Port.
That's work rate, and they're just willing to run for each other, something that very criticised much last week. I mean, Geelong really tore them to pieces, and much spoken about their training regime this week, and certainly they've continued that training form out here in this first half.
Wakeland peels off from full back, takes them on down the wing, sends the pass in the White direction. Gillum, ex-Port Adelaide player, is with him.
That's
and
better.
Gillum wins to Crawford, Birchall, Bateman, Sewell. Pokes the kick. Osborne.
It's got Young out this side if you can spot him, Dwayne.
And doesn't quite hit him. Diving, not completing the mark laid. Young picks it up, kicks across the face, and a behind. Didn't realise he had a little bit more time than that.
Well, you've got to take your chances, especially interstate, especially ball use there. The kick had to just go over the top of Lade. But as we see, Young did have another couple of steps there just to steady himself.
Thurston's to Chad Corns. McGlynn makes a contest. Corns wins it, but the handball's astray and not called deliberate. We'll get a ball in.
Well, Chad Corns now assigned to Sam Mitchell. So have a look at the size difference here. Chad Corns, 6'3". Mitchell about 5'10".
McGlynn, that's a better shot.
Much better.
It's long. It's there. Nice shot from McGlynn.
Well, just read it off the hit out very well. Good instinctive player. I mean, he's been in red-hot form, and he got himself goal side here, which is what you want to do. Look, no one on him. Outside or inside 50, and class players, 2 steps, goal.
It was very good play there. Jacob Surgeon, I think, was the player that was assigned to him. Second in the competition for inside 50s.
Yeah.
Been a revelation so far this year, young Benny McGlynn from Wentworth.
As you said, Danny, second for inside 50, second for score assists in the competition. And he was taken pick 126, 126th in the draft. Not selected in the main draft, but ended up going pick 55 in the pre-season draft. He's been a very good pickup for the Hawks. Ball shuffled out backwards. Free kick. Hawthorn's way, no, Port Adelaide's way.
Well, size is not everything with Ben McGlynn. He's one of the shortest players in the competition, but if you can play the game, there's still a spot for you in AFL football.
Umpire just pointed the wrong way for a second. It's Sewell's ball. And now Young with the one hand. Pops it over the top towards Smith and Lewis.
Well, you've got to take your chances. You have to mark that ball, Joel Smith.
Thurston's. Tough one to mark for White. Gillam with the punch. Down towards Westhoff. Well played. The first gamer wins it again. Treadray. White. Lade. Gray. Left it behind. Guerra. To half forward. Osborne. Pettigrew's with him. And Port Adelaide with numbers back. Chad Corns. Caught by Osborne. No free. Pettigrew. Kane Corns. Peter Burgoyne. Turnover. Sewell. Lewis. Boyle. Dishes it up. Kick is...
Good goal.
He's got it through. He didn't think he kicked it. He wasn't celebrating, Osborne, but it's there.
Well, it was a great leg break in the end, Wayne. It looked like it was going to go through for a point, but good pressure from Hawthorn. They've just started this quarter a little bit better, Jacko, and you just see here just working the ball forward, keeping the ball alive. As we see the ball here, it looked like it. Oh, yeah, no, very good kick there. But the positive sign was when the ball went into Port's 50. I just watched their defenders. Jacobs on Treadray and Gillam on White. They played a lot closer, a little bit more aggressive. So it's a good goal there from Hawthorn.
Hawks getting a little bit of momentum back. Michael Osborne, the 4th goal of the season for him. Robert Campbell having a rest.
Just starting to win the ball around the stoppages a little bit more. Mitchell's already had the 3 possessions. Lewis, Crawford, Birchall.
Taylor and Lade. Good commitment by Symes. Knocked it on. McGlynn almost traps it. Rolls it back to half-back. Handball missed the target. Lewis did well. Handball smothered by Gray. Lays a high tackle. Free kick Hawthorn.
Well, you don't blame him there, Dwayne. Ben McGlynn, he's not a giant, so...
Neither's Robert Gray. McGlynn to Guerra.
Starting to run better now, Hawthorn. Trying to open it up a bit.
Young, speaking of runners, sends it long to the goal square. Franklin's down there.
Good
Can't get a
kick.
fly. Smith, back of the pack. Well read.
It was a great, strong kick from Clinton Young. It really does put the defence Oh, actually, we've got a free kick.
He's got a push. Yeah, there's the nudge. 2 hands in the back, straight in the back there, Pettigrew. So
there's the rule.
That's the rule. I mean, if they're going to pay it, that's the most important thing. They're going to pay it consistently, and we've seen at times, even this weekend, they haven't.
Well, that actually was in the back anyway.
Yeah,
not only
right
hands on the back, that actually pushed the momentum forward on Pettigrew. So
no doubting that one.
That was always there.
Late, almost a turnover. Is a turnover. Franklin from 40 nails it. Here they come, the Hawks.
Oh, that's 2 goals in the last 2 minutes have come from their turnovers. Port Adelaide turnovers. They'd be very, very disappointed there. But I mean, Jordan Lewis there, you see in that previous contest, push out in the back. But Buddy Franklin, he pounced on that, which was very good. Jordan Lewis came through.
That was a great spoil. Just the little things that count, and you've got to take your chances. They've had a few opportunities in this quarter to get into the game, but they're just working their way back into the game, the Hawks, which is a real pleasing sign for a young team.
Kicked just 1 goal, 2 last week, Lance Franklin. It's his first goal this afternoon. 27th of the season. Bounce. Laid. Sean Burgoyne, Sewell.
One thing I've noticed at the centre bounce now, the Hawthorn players are probably reacting now to Lade winning the ruck. They've just got the finger in the back of their direct opponents, and they're playing one-on-one football. So if Lade does win it, at least they're going to have a scrubby possession around the stoppages here.
So the Hawks, the last 6 inside 50s from the ball up. Extracted by McGlynn. Kick half smothered. Symes back with the flight, but left it behind. Peter Burgoyne, commitment good. Wakeland, pass good. Surgeon, Pearce. So Corns one way and Space the other. Heads long, tread trail even.
Just lost him in traffic there, Campbell Brown.
Sends it long in the White direction, one-on-one.
Well done, Gillum.
Gillum and White. White fights on. Handballs it over the top. Gray through traffic to Westhoff. Couldn't quite snare it. Hawthorn with numbers back. Brown missed it. Waited for it. Had no choice. Ebert tucked up against the boundary. Centering kick. Terrible. Crawford.
Just a rush of blood there from young Ebert. Just had to give the ball some height to the top of the square to allow Treadray to get onto it.
Oh, just a good intensity from both sides. I mean, hitting the pack, taking their opportunities and forcing turnovers by both sides.
Tempo's lifted, as have the Hawks. Crawford to Smith. Held up. Good inside kick. 50 towards Hodge. Gets there.
Well, great movie of Melissa Clarkson. Hodge last week.
Yeah.
They needed someone, a money man, to go forward. Hodge was the man kicking 3. He's a class act, Luke Hodge.
He's 3-2 from 5 shots last week. Luke Hodge.
Equally good kick from Joel Smith. Just put the ball to space. Nothing the Port defender could do with that kick.
And didn't bomb away. Waited for the right option. Had the poise. He's got the good skills. Player been around a long time. Great experience. Important to hit him up.
That's what Hodge has in front of him. Nice off the boot.
He's happy.
They're sneaking ever closer.
Well, it's starting to dry up for Port. To Hawthorn's credit now, they got the ascendancy around the stoppages. They're winning the ball. The Burgoyne boys are getting a little bit of it, but they're more scrubby possessions. Hawthorn are now starting to run and split the pack open when they get it.
The one thing that Alistair Clarkson has been big on about this year is the equalness of his team. They got blown out of the park there in that first quarter. What they've done, they've just lifted their work rate, find space, you know, man up and winning some of the contested possession, which has been pivotal in this second quarter.
Well, they're now leading the inside 50s Hawthorn, so they're starting to win some quality ball. 18 inside 50s Hawthorn, 15 Port.
Port Adelaide led by 21 points heading into this second term. Lead cut back to 2. They get the clearance. Chad Corns, Ebert at half forward. Nice mark. Protected the drop zone with his body. Sends it inside 50 to White.
Well, that was good understanding between two forwards. I mean, Westhoff, he gave a dummy lead coming back in to the goal square, creating a space where Damon White actually led into, and just through the defender. See, as you see there, just saw the defender and just found a bit of space for himself. So An active forward line, as you know, Spud, is always quite dangerous, and as lively as Damon White has been this year, should go back and kick this goal.
Been preferred up forward to Toby Thurston's this year, who's playing back. In the grand final victory a couple of years ago, it was Thurston's preferred in the team for White, who was an emergency that day. And Damon White kicks his second. Some breathing space again.
Well, it's a good reply because Hawthorn have dominated the quarter with 9 inside 50s to 3. And you just see here, White uses Birchall and Westhoff as the foil. And Gillam's got to learn from that. Just open up the leg rope too much. If you're hip on hip, it's very hard to get away. So Gillam just laid off him somewhat. But it was also a good play from young Westhoff, knowing that there was a bit of a gap there, so he used him as a foil. So that was great forward movement. Maybe Hawthorn could have looked at trading up there a little bit, but a much-needed goal for Port.
2 goals now for Damon White. 47 plays, 39. 16 minutes gone, second term. From the ball up, clearance important. Mitchell can't get it away. Lee Colbert on the boundary.
Chance Bateman's just come back from the rooms. He's had a knock to his left knee, so he's done a good job on Sean Burgoyne to date, so important that he gets back on the ground soon.
Both teams already down one man. Crawford spears it inside 50 to Franklin.
Well, impossible to defend. Thurston's was right on Franklin's head. Franklin jumped early, but it was the kick from Crawford. Just put the ball to grass, as we see here. Head over the ball. Beautiful skill. Jump early, Franklin. Impossible to defend.
Already got one in this term. One for the afternoon, Lance Franklin. That's coming around beautifully. He's got 2. It's goal for goal at Amy.
And Glenn, that's the big improvement on Lance Franklin. Maybe 12 months ago would have just not extended the arm somewhat. He's taken the ball in front of his eyes now. And as he knows, he's 6'6". If you jump like that, there's not much a defender can do, especially when the ball's put lace out.
No, and just his explosive pace. I mean, started deep in the goal square there, led up. I mean, Shane Crawford, as we know, one of the best ball deliverers in the competition, hit him lace up, and that's what you want moving forwards, and we're seeing it on both sides at the minute, which is good to see. Good footy.
Third on the AFL goal-kicking table at the moment, Lance Franklin. That's goal number 28 for the year. Only Pavlich with 31, and Favola, who plays this afternoon, with 32 ahead of him. From the ball up, laid, perfect, down to Sean Burgoyne, and gets clear to Pearce, who's a long kick of the ball, loads up from outside 50, had to pull the kick, and that's probably a better result than a behind for Port Adelaide.
The one thing I'm noticing both sides is the pace into their forward line. I mean, it's just hard for defenders to defend it, and they're just catching, giving the opposite, their direct forwards, their direct teammates, first use of the footy, and it's exciting footy.
Have a look at the numbers around the ball here. Both sides going 1-on-1, which is great to see.
2-point margin. Campbell caught by Symes, Mitchell, Jacobs, Hodge, Birchall, Jacobs. Worked it out of defence reasonably well. Sewell, Birchall,
he's got
Mitchell.
pressure, Port.
Great pressure by Port Adelaide, just as Hawthorn appeared to be coming away with it. Osman, good commitment. Sean Burgoyne to Westhoff.
Young fella.
Hamill missed the target. Jacobs. And they might rush it behind here. Campbell Brown steps back. Allowed to play on quickly, even though the umpire hadn't signalled.
What's the beauty of Port going 1-on-1 also? It makes it hard for Hawthorn to run the ball out with any fluency. If Hawthorn have got an extra number, they're able to use the overlapping player quite easily.
Crawford on the wing. To Ellis, one of the late inclusions for Hawthorn, Xavier Ellis. To Osman. Campbell. Hamill not good. Turnover. Great commitment from both teams.
Good football.
It's been a magnificent game to watch. And McGlynn going nowhere. We'll get a ball up. Lee Colbert.
The big difference with the Hawks so far this quarter is the way they've actually set up across centre-half forward. No big centre-half forward. McGlynn, Osborne and Smith have all played there, and it's allowed their boys to run the ball through that middle of the ground and kick long to their forward targets.
3-point ball game. Campbell and Lade. Chad Corn's third man up. Free kick to Lade. Always hard to know who's going to get the free kick in those ruck instances.
He's got Corns on out here wide.
Chad Corns Hasn't got a lot to go to. Back to Lade. Loney.
It's got Pearce on if he can find him.
Loney, of course, an ex-Hawthorn player. 64 games for the Hawks. Nathan Loney. To Pearce. To Chad Corns. Crowd not happy, and it's Port Adelaide that's booing Port Adelaide.
And rightfully
at
so,
the moment.
because they've been enjoying, you know, two sides free-flowing game running forward, and none of this until now.
Well, I just have a look at the Port runner out in the middle of the ground. I think this could be a ploy from the coach's box, because he's just saying, boys, control the play. You just see the Port runner on the wing here.
Just forcing
Tony
Hawthorn to
McGuinness.
man up. That's what they're doing. Hawthorn flooded back.
Tony McGuinness, the champion Adelaide player, Dwayne, and Western Bulldogs.
Certainly is. This is Surgeon. And that's a pop-up kick that turns it over. And Port Adelaide fans cheering the fact that they're going to get some contest football again.
Well, the thing is that if you're going to play that type of game, sooner or later you're going to get a turnover. Most important, it's not in your back 50.
And the ball in. Campbell, front spot. Didn't win it decisively. Kick around the body, Symes. Treadray tries to get it to Roden. Nice one-handed pickup. Through traffic. Ducks the tackle. Weaves to 50. Ebert in a one-on-one with Campbell. Brown. Ebert's got it.
Take a bow, David Roden. Talk about explosive in traffic.
Well, it's in his family. Spud Roden's uncle ran the 100-metre sprint for Fiji at the Atlanta Olympics. He did.
Did he go around a couple of witches' hats like this?
I'm not sure if he had the duck and weave. No.
Unbelievable. He'd be good at the hop, step and jump too, I'm tipping.
So they got speed in the genes, the Rodens. Ebert from 35. That'll settle the nerves a little.
Well, you're right, Danny, because you mentioned maybe that was a ploy by Mark Williams, just to slow things down. And then when they did go forward and got the chance, and we saw some magical play there by Roden, but they've just controlled the last 3 or 4 minutes and then gone on and kicked a goal. But they've denied a Hawthorn possession of the ball because they're up and running. Buddy's leaning out of the goal square, so is Doyle, and they're enjoying, you know, obviously good play up in the forward line. So good play by Port. It's a tactic and it's working for them.
Goal to Ebert, set up by Roden. And David Roden, of course, former Richmond player, and picked up as the last choice in the draft last summer. Pick 86. From the ball up, DeLuca. Cassisi pushing the back against Cassisi. It'll be a Hawthorn free.
It's an interesting one, Dave Roden, too, because he had a knee reconstruction 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And as you know, Glenn, it normally takes 18 months to come back to full fitness.
Yeah, I was surprised he got delisted because I just felt he's always still a young player when he had that injury. So, you know, it does take 12 to 18 months, and he's come back, and he's been very good for him this year in a fair few games, actually.
Lewis to Guerra. Speaking of players who've changed clubs, Brent Guerra, 65 games for Port Adelaide, 31 St Kilda, and then after the Hawks, Brent Guerra. This is his second season at Hawthorn, and he actually played under Alistair Clarkson at Port Adelaide when Alistair Clarkson was an assistant coach here at Port Adelaide, and played under him at Central Districts when Alistair Clarkson coached in the SANFL. So Clarkson knew what he had in store when he recruited Brent Guerra, and that is a magnificent kick. 6 minutes left on the clock. He's whacked it through for a 3-point ball game.
Well, it is a magnificent kick. Started the game down back. Alistair Clarkson really swinging the moves. Push hard forward, had instant results. And Brent Guerra just, actually, he is still down back. He's pushed forward, but he is a magnificent kick. Went to St Kilda after Port and was a renowned goal kicker for the Saints. But you want the ball in their hands with the players with the best kicks, and Brent Guerra is one of the best kicks in the competition. Really enjoying this game of football, though. It's just fantastic at the moment. 8 goals each.
Well, you used to be able to say had an old head on young shoulders, Brent Guerra, but with that new regrowth of hair, he's got a young head on those young shoulders. Well, that was a very clever kick. 51 plays 54. Margin back to 3 points. Kane Corns, Mitchell, Young, ball up.
Well, this is where they've really improved the Hawks. Round the stoppages, it's now 15 all. In the first quarter, the clearances were 13-6. So they've done a fantastic job, Hawthorn, in this quarter.
DeLuca and Taylor, Symes, Cassisi, Kane Corns, Sean Burgoyne about to get caught. Dispossessed,
dropping the ball.
not holding the ball. Mitchell, it's Hawthorn's ball anyway. Hodge, Scott Lewis, he centres it magnificently. His left foot kick is a killer, and Sewell will line up.
Just good play. I mean, they just moved it forward, and I mean, unlucky not to get the free kick. And you wonder if the umpire just lets it go because they had weighted numbers there. But Hodge's vision inside. You don't see a lot of that these days with players being able to do that off just 2 steps, look inside with so many numbers rushing back, but to hit up at right in the corridor there. Well done, Luke Hodge.
Brad Sewell in game number 50 can give Hawthorn the lead. For the first time in the game, Hawks are in front.
Well, great fight back from Hawthorn, showing a lot of character for a young team. You see them get around Brad Sewell. Got a big job on Sean Burgoyne. So just fantastic play there. And just the tackling and the harassment of Hawthorn. See here, we Port go backwards. Great tackle there from Roughhead. And it gets the ball out to Hodge. And it goes to Sean Burgoyne's direct opponent in Brad Sewell, who's pushed forward. Gee, you have to close his eyes and put his hands behind his back to drop that one, Glenn. That was a magnificent kick from Luke Hodge.
So the Hawks, for the first time this afternoon, in the shadows of halftime, have the lead, 57-54. Jared Roughhead, one of the late inclusions for Hawthorn. Trent Crode out and Ladson out, and Xavier Ellis and Jared Roughhead in. Jared Roughhead, if you didn't hear earlier, played yesterday for Box Hill, kicked 4 goals and was best on ground. Jumped on a flight this morning to get here in time. And the Hawks are on fire at the moment. Taylor got it from Smith, gave it to Mitchell. Loops the handball to half forward. Crawford somehow through traffic. Bentley ran him down. Free kick will come back.
No, it was an advantage. Was an advantage, but they had a fair while there, so...
Say what? So Mitchell loads up long towards full forward. Massive pack. Thurston's hands went out. Chips it wide. Bentley.
No, it's 50 metres back here, Dwayne.
Okay.
Encroach the mark, so the umpires bring it back. Give him a 50 in the middle of the ground. Michael Bozzo.
Laid back on. DeLuca having a rest for Port Adelaide. Toby Thurston's played every game this year. Chad Corns, one of the favourites for the Brownlow. Heads wide to Damon White. Natives a little restless at the moment.
He's kicked the 2 goals, Damon White, but at least now when he's marking the ball, it's up around the wing. So he has to search a little bit further up the ground to get the ball.
Chad Corns all the way back to Thurston's, across to Wakeland. Hawthorn with every player in front of the ball right now. Pettigrew.
Well, it is a ploy here by Hawthorn, because if they can come in at half-time leading, psychologically, knowing that Port Adelaide have been perceived a bit more physical, more dominant, Hawthorn are going to be leading at half-time.
And that's almost out of bounds on a full, not quite, from Dominic Cassisi, according to the boundary umpire. Oh, yes, just touched the line. From the ball in, laid back on. Up against Taylor, down to Roden. Finds Pearce. Kane Corns, no one to kick to inside 50.
He's kicking long. There's 3 Hawthorn players behind the ball.
And that's why they don't just bang it long, normally. They keep possession. Gillum, Jacobs, Smith.
It's got Mitchell on wide.
So the flooding back Hawthorn's been playing in the second term has worked the treat. Mitchell to Birchall. Mitchell. Crawford. Pokes it to half forward. Franklin. Too far out to score.
Good
Takes
kick.
them on. Wobbles it to the pocket. It's almost. No mark paid to Sewell. Sean Burgoyne to Roden. Chad Corns. Bentley's open. If the kick gets to him. Nope. Out of play. 50 from Hawthorn's goal. Inside 3 minutes to half time. They have come from 21 points down at quarter time, the Hawks, to lead by 3. And the ball in, Lewis, Hodge, centering kick to Franklin. He just lost it for some reason. Loney, no one to go to again.
Well, this is good from Hawthorn. They're just corralling Port. They're not running at them. They'll man the mark here. But when Port have got the loose player, Hawthorn will say, well, you can have as many positions you like inside our forward 50, but we're not going to let you put it past the centre. So they're pressing Port in their forward 50, which is great play.
Jack Corns. He's got Wakeland peeling off wide. Wakeland gets there, takes the mark. Hawthorn getting numbers back again. Hoping for a long bomb from Wakeland. They don't get it. He goes towards Bentley. Boundary line looming. Keeps it alive to Robert Gray. No one to go to. Guerra. So the turnover's been forced again. Ellis. Crawford.
But numbers
Ellis.
in the middle.
Taylor.
McGlynn's on his own.
And McGlynn can run in and kick the goal and extend the lead from 50. Long drop punt. Straight over the goal line past Hat. They're playing Port Adelaide on a break.
Well, we sung the praise of young Robert Gray, but out of back flank or forward 50 out there, he had to take the ball out, Danny. He had to just take the ball out over the line because Hawthorn just came back through the corridor, through Crawford and McGlynn on the end of it. He'll get credit of the goal, but being the first game up, just had to learn to take that ball out because there would have been a stoppage over there and wasted a bit more time on the clock. This is what they don't want, Port Adelaide, coming down at 11 points down.
Great play from Brent McGlynn. We just see Luke Hodge in the middle of the ground putting his hands to all the Hawthorn players saying, boys, let's now just slow it down. And here we go. Just slow it down, boys. We're happy with this lead to go in at half time with a 9-point lead.
After being 21 down at quarter time, last 2 times these two teams have met, Port Adelaide's seen Hawthorn play attacking football, and Port have won by 96 points and 117 points. They have smashed Hawthorn the last 2 times they've met. Hawthorn making sure they don't allow that again. With men behind the ball, and it's working. Smith, all the time he likes. Toward Taylor, cut off by Surgeon.
Well, that's the frustration of the crowd. He looked to go to play on there, but whether it's a ploy or he didn't have the confidence to move forward, I mean, they're a good side. Just keep attacking because they have got some players up front that are presenting and kicking goals.
Peter Burgoyne to Ebert.
Good laid on.
And it's in his direction. He's got the height advantage over Lewis, who makes him earn it.
It's a good mark. He had to take it.
Well, they're going to get one last chance with 35.
Half-time at AAMI Stadium as the two teams run back out onto AAMI Stadium in bright sunshine. It's a 9-point lead to the Hawks after they were 21 points down at quarter time, and they'll need some performances from some of their big guns, Port Adelaide, in their second half if they are able to overcome the style of game that Hawthorn played in the second term, Danny.
Well, they were sensational, Hawthorn, the second term. Mitchell was quiet early. He had 10 in that quarter. Crawford had 7, McGlynn 5 and a goal, Burchell 6. But in the first quarter, they had the 59 possessions. They had 89 possessions, but it was their run. 17 handball receives in the first quarter, Hawthorn. That quarter they had 40. Not only that, Glenn, they were winning the clearances.
One of the interesting statistics I got out of that first half, Hawthorn have gone inside their 50 16 times and have had 13 scoring shots on goal. So, I mean, every time they go forward, they are deadly. They're going to put scoreboard pressure, and something that Port Adelaide and their Chargers would have assessed at half-time is their defensive pursuit to make sure they're just very tight on their direct opponents. I mean, Boyle and Franklin going strong.
We see we just see Treadray on the screen now. I think he's been terrific. He's jumped. Well, a couple of weeks ago, his big foot was stuck on the ground. We just see here in the first quarter, he was just moving a lot freer. You know, good chasing there. He was moving up the ground. His second and third efforts were there. We didn't see that a couple of weeks ago.
No.
But I just saw it early in the game. We just see here pushing off Jacobs, and then this was the key. Just jumping off the ground. He couldn't do that 2 weeks ago. So he's getting a lot stronger through the legs.
It just gives you that confidence within yourself. Self-doubt certainly hurts.
And there we see Mark Williams there. I'm sure he would have been wrapped in the first quarter, but doubly disappointed in the second quarter, so he'll be looking for a big effort for his boys in this third quarter.
9-point lead to the Hawks. Blue sky dominant at the moment here at AAMI Stadium. We had a light shower in the opening term, and Mark Williams trying to get his troops back on track after they conceded a 21-point lead at quarter time. And Stephen Salopek, the man on screen with his nose strapped, kind of gives the indication he might be back on.
Well, that'll be inspirational if he does come back on. It's a fairly
he's warming up.
Fair bit of bandage around his loaf there, Glenn. But look, that's a positive sign to see Salopek too. That'll be uplift if he does come back on the ground.
Heavy collision for Stephen Salopek. He hit the hip and then the ground, and he looks like he might come back on. Lee Colbert's down there. Colby.
Yeah, he's doing wind sprints at the moment, Stephen Salopek, so sensational to see for Port Adelaide fans. The most important men on the ground at the moment, especially in this second half of the ruckman. Two teams, first quarter it was all Port Power, the second quarter was all the Hawks, so I look forward to a second half.
So 10-3 plays 8-6, laid back in the middle. Hawks by 9 points. Underway as Laird jumps early. Campbell the palm down and almost the takeaway, but gave it up to Roden. Kick inside 50. Ebert played for the free, doesn't get it.
Well, it was good play by Campbell, Brown. He used his forearm there, not his hands.
I'd like to see the replay there.
Yes. Guerra. Short chip kick, Mitchell. And Mitchell heads wide in the Crawford direction. Pearce, front spot, takes the mark. Back towards half forward. Robert Gray, first gamer. Sees the lead come short from Treadray, and he half volleys it.
Good pickup.
Pearce, high to the goal square, one-on-one. Ebert and Campbell Brown wins with a fist across the line for a behind.
The reason why Campbell Brown was able to get a fist of that, he was conscious of his play, but he never lost sight of the football there. As we see that replay, well, it was a forearm. Okay, I'll pay that. It's good to see the umpire didn't fall for that because he was backing back into it. So his momentum, once he hits that player or that brick wall, he's going to go forward. So the umpire didn't fall for it.
Well, it's good technique. You've got to use your forearm because the minute you use your fingernails or your hand, you're gone.
Can you push with your forearm?
Yes, you can.
You can cause
You can
more.
hold out. You can hold out, Dwayne. You can't push.
We'll have players just cutting their hands off and playing in stumps soon just to make it legal. Short pass to Sam Mitchell.
Put some
Gathers
boxing
on the
gloves
wing.
on.
Bateman back to Mitchell. Spears the pass to Hodge. And he is deadly with the left foot from there.
Franklin's
he chips
on.
it to Franklin instead of going for the goal.
Well, that is very ordinary play from Port. Mark Williams wouldn't be too happy with the checking on Luke Hodge in particular. Kasisi's on him, and then...
Well, he snuck forward.
Yeah, what we had then is Thurston's manning the mark, and he's looking around saying, well, can someone pick up Franklin? And look what happens here. Franklin had the awareness to say, well, I'm going to push forward because my direct opponent's manning the mark on Hodge.
So Lance Franklin lines them up for his third. And he's missed.
Well, it's disappointing by Lance Franklin because it could have put a lot of scoreboard pressure there and against Port. I mean, against a bit of momentum that Port will look like building going in their forward 50. Need to capitalise on.
Wakeland.
Hawthorn's zone has worked really well. Port have had to really chip the ball short and outside the corridor. So Hawthorn are actually giving him these short kicks.
Pearce back to Wakeland. Kasisi,
Good
it's over
pressure.
his head. Hodge dominating at the moment, the Hawks. Hodge toward full forward. Good mark, not paid. It was paid to Lewis. No, the umpire said no. Surgeon kicks wide to White. Roden. Handball back again. Kane Corns, a long high ball. Chad can't get there to attempt the mark, and it's bounced away out of play. They should know Port Adelaide's game plan pretty well, the Hawks. They've got Alistair Clarkson, of course, as we see this Lewis mark not paid, slapped away. Alistair Clarkson, former Port Adelaide assistant coach, coaching the Hawks. They've got Damien Hardwick and Jeff Morris in the coach's box. Hawthorn as assistants, both ex-assistant coaches at Port Adelaide as well. From the ball up. Peter Burgoyne lays the tackle. Ball comes free. And a free kick against Lade for a push in the back to Hodge.
Well, in the first quarter, that was all Port. First hands on the ball, their intent was terrific. Now Hawthorn have led the way since quarter time. We just see Hodge going lower and harder than Lade there.
Wide kick, Campbell almost the mark. Spilt it. Boundary line is sanctuary if you wanted it. Tied up underneath Cassisi. And the umpire will ball it up. Hawthorn also have Andrew Russell as their fitness coach, an ex-Port Adelaide fitness coach, and Chris Pelkin, their recruiting manager for Hawthorn, ex-Port Adelaide as well, as you see them all in the coach's box.
Also, they got Brent Guerra and Steve Gillum,
yes,
ex-players.
We've talked a bit about Brent Guerra, but as you said, Stephen Gillum, drafted by Port, pick 16 back in 2002, only played the one game in his 3 seasons at Alberton. Campbell down to Mitchell. Sewell stolen from him by Pearce. Chad Corns. Peter Burgoyne couldn't collect it. Chad Corns to try and mop up the mess. And the umpire will ball it up again.
Well, it was an escape there for Port Adelaide. I mean, it was just a bit of a turnover there by Peter Burgoyne, and it's one player that only had 9 possessions up in the half-time. Needs a big lift, needs to get Port into this game and get them back into there, because that had gone Hawthorn's way. They were on their way.
Jack Corns, third man up, the set play down to Pearce. Sprints away from Young.
Oh, good
Bounce.
chase.
Great chase. Handball in the west off direction. And Birchall. Birchall wins out. Campbell Brown. Crawford. Mitchell. All the way back to Campbell Brown. Guerra. Pearce. Shrugged the tackle with ease, Brent Guerra. Chips the kick to the wing. Sewell.
Crawford's on the burst.
Sees Crawford, hits McGlynn instead. Held up by Roden. Lead comes from Franklin. It's ignored. Now the short pass to Crawford, who runs inside 50, takes on Lade to Smith. Kick smothered. Bounces toward Pettigrew. Thurstons. Wakeland off the side. And it bounces across the line. And the umpire doesn't pay deliberate. Well,
Shane Crawford, stand up, because your leadership here in this couple of minutes, he's hard running and just getting... that's just pressure by Hawthorn's forwards, and it's a reason why they're leading at the minute. It's just good leadership, good hard running, good pressure.
Good palm down late to Sean Burgoyne, missed it. Roden, Surgeon, Pettigrew, Crawford again. Peter Burgoyne, Thurstons. Almost played on into trouble. And Thurston's heads wide. Wakeland.
Well, again, Hawthorn defending really well here. They're forcing Port just outside the corridor along the boundary line. Makes it very difficult to score.
The ex-Hawthorn player Loney runs the wing.
That's good.
Fooled everybody with a poke over the top to Pearce. Runs to 50. Smith did well. Corralled him. Forced him to make a decision. Pearce has a bounce and hits the post.
Well, it was well set up by Loney there. Just drawled everyone by coming back through the corridor, but he knew he had Pearce to his right and then just swung the kick over. And Daniel Pearce had a bit more time there, needed to finish that off.
Jacobs. Gillum. Dangerous kick. Lade might cut it off. He does. 64 plays 56. Open corridor. White.
Treadray on deep.
Sends it in very deep. Treadray and Gillum. Gillum a good spoil. Knocks it down. Tries to grab it. Jacobs takes it across. Actually, get a ball in.
Well, the kick was actually too deep for Warren. He just wanted the ball put a little bit more to space, but he actually kicked the ball on top of his head. We see Treadray had nowhere to move here. Just had to kick the ball to a little bit more grass.
Taylor knocks it down. Stolen by Chad Corns, and he rolls it through.
Well, good play at the stoppage there by Port. I mean, they just reassessed the space they had in front of him, and Chad Corns just swooped on that. But this game's going to be won by the team that takes their opportunities, and Chad Corns just made something of nothing there, and just a team lifting goal. As you can see, he goes to the crowd and he just wants everyone to lift there, and it's pretty noisy out there.
Well, it was a good goal. Jacobs was in the right spot, but he just had to squeeze it through. They had a sweeper there, Hawthorn, so great kick there from Chad Corns.
It's been inspirational a number of times over the last few seasons, Chad Corns. Coming off a 25 possession game last week. That's what he's had this week. And the margin cut back to 2 points. It's been a magnificent game to watch. From the ball up, down to Lewis, to Young. Heads wide.
Gee, works hard, Ben McGlynn.
And a bounce kindly for him. Sends it a bit too wide, though. Out of bounds on the full. Hodge throws his hands in the air. Cassisi. And he plays on. Spears the pass. Robert Gray got a fingernail on it. No. Out of bounds on the full. Sam Mitchell. Taylor. The lead comes inside 50. Franklin. He's held out, Buddy Franklin. Can't get a fly at it. Might crumb it regardless. Doesn't. Boyle doesn't get a free kick either. Played for it. Wanted it. Loney wanted the leather. Gave it to Kane Corns. Back to Loney.
No right foot.
Left's okay, though. 15-metre pass. But Sean Burgoyne to Thurstons.
The beauty of that, Dwayne, he just had to come back inboard deep again. So we see Hawthorn really defending well here. That is Corella marked beautifully. Centre corridor. Force Corns to kick long down the line.
So he runs and takes on Osborne. Pass to Surgeon. Spot on. Kane Corns. White. Ebert. Open forward line. Ryden runs back. So does Westhoff. High in the Westhoff direction. Can't get a touch on it. Out of play.
Well, just for Westhoff there, that's just a learning experience. Got to hold his feet. He's just a little bit raw, just in his bones. Got to do a few more seasons in the weights, but just had to just fend up, hold his feet here, because he could have taken that chest mark. Had his opponent, I mean, he was goal side and the goal mouth.
Yes, a nice bump to the side by Birchall. Ball back into play. Dangerous area for the Hawks. Port Adelaide searching to take the lead. Jacobs over it. Smith extracts it to Lewis. Handball high. Taylor. Birchall. Bateman. Young can rush her behind if he'd like. It's a 1 point game.
Smart play, because he looked up the middle of the ground. There was no one on.
Kick in quick from full back. The point and advantage if he can rush it and bring it in and set it up. Crawford bouncing down the wing. Crawford of old to Franklin.
Well, he's hit Lance Franklin twice lace out today, and that was great running from Crawford. Good hard running. Great transition from the stoppage there from full back.
Damon White just had to be a lot stronger in that contest on the 50-metre arc. He just had to bring the ball down. He got out marked. He was out position, but he just had to bring it down the ground.
Franklin from 50. He's already missed one in this term, and he's missed to the near side again. Back to 2 points. 10-5 to 9-9. Port Adelaide quickly in this time. Kane Corns.
Hasn't got a lot to kick to here.
And he kicks toward the boundary line. And he doesn't measure it well enough. Mitchell runs into trouble. Taylor flips the handball to Sewell. Smith. McGlynn. Thought about Sewell. Can pump it in. Takes them on. Brought down by Bentley. That's his forte. He is a magnificent tackler, Greg Bentley.
He's got Surgeon on. Yeah, it was a magnificent tackle, Dwayne. Just to see McGlynn just try and take him on. Just got the fingernails on the jumper. Great tackle.
Robert Gray sold the dummy back to Surgeon. Ebert short. Ball in his direction. Forced to jump. Campbell Brown kept it alive. Probably not the best option. And he gets the free.
Yeah, Ebert tackled and then just kept him down in the tackle. Free kick was definitely there.
Campbell Brown across goal to Guerra. Not a lot of room to move. And now Birchall. He has some room. Well played by the Hawks. Lead by 2 points. Birchall short. Young. And a good game to watch. And it continues to lift a gear. Birchall got it back. Kicks it long. Franklin caught behind. Forced to fist it across the line. Lee Colbert.
Warren Treadray's come off for a rest, getting ready for the last quarter. Remember, a couple of weeks ago, they actually played a smaller forward line and kicked some goals against the Swans. That is Port Power. And also Jacob Surgeon came off before playing on Ben McGlynn, as Spud alluded to, blowing like you wouldn't believe. So Ben McGlynn working hard across half forward.
Lade and Campbell, 50 from the Hawks' goal. Sean Burgoyne. Handball smothered. Well played, Sewell.
Hang on to.
Sean Burgoyne gets the free. Chad Corns.
Hasn't got a lot to go here.
Danger. Loney's lost it. Toward the line, but it doesn't get there. Boyle takes on Thurston's way too high. Free kick to Boyle.
Well, it was that first handball. Just put the Port player under extreme pressure there. And again, it's just the forward pressure of Hawthorn. The corralling and the pressure they're putting on the players here has been terrific.
But I know a lot of sides play on at all costs in today's football, but there's times when you don't need to play on, and that's what the Port Adelaide team did on that half-back line. They didn't need to play on. Just sometimes go back and kick it and find the right option, because you run your direct teammate into trouble, and that's why Hawthorn are having a shot on goal right now.
Correct way.
We talked about Boyle being a very accurate kick earlier on in this game, and he proves it again.
Oh.
Magnificent kick. They lead by 8.
Well, 21 goals to the year, Tim Boyle. Great story. Couple of broken legs. His work rate. He's a different type. We just see here that handball from Chad Corns. He's handballed to no one. He just had to go back and kick the ball long. If you're going to make a mistake in the back half, Glenn, make a long one and a wide one. Just a little 2-metre handball put Loney under extreme pressure. We see the kick from Boyle.
Kick.
Just sliced the middle of the goals. Wasn't a lot of daylight there. Magnificent kick over the goal umpire's hat.
He's kicked 21 goals, 11 this year. Very accurate kick. Tim Boyle, 3 for the game. Should probably be playing for the Bulldogs, given that his father played there. But not enough games for Tim Boyle to be picked up under the father-son. From the ball up, Lewis.
Good tap from Campbell.
Long kick, back in the Boyle direction. Forced to punch from behind. Osborne, dumped by Symes. Cassisi. Chad Corns. Lade calling for it short, kick smothered.
Again played on unnecessarily there, Chad Corns.
Well played, Lewis, but lost it. Chad Corns got it back, Cassisi. Lade still free, gets it. He's got Loney running for him. And Young comes at Loney, forces him to kick it. Treadray can't get a punch at it. Ebert does, but it's too high. Free kick to Campbell Brown. Every Port Adelaide player stopped.
Yeah.
All the Hawks are running.
I don't think that's advantage for Port. Gee.
Robert Campbell. Crawford. Inside 50. Lewis. Hawthorn on the break.
Well, all the Port players did stop when they heard the whistle. And the umpires paid advantage. So, great transitional play from Hawthorn. They're doing a lot better than Port at the moment. From down back, their counter-attack. The key to that play was through the middle of the ground.
Has been a couple of times put to the Rules Committee that if an umpire's going to play on advantage, you shouldn't blow the whistle. But obviously the Rules Committee with other things on their mind. Hands in the back rule, the biggest of them. That is a magnificent goal on the rebound.
Well, they're just getting beaten for pace here on this big ground. Hawthorn, I mean, very young side, we know that, but they're running at all costs. I mean, rolling the dice like that at times can be advantageous only if you hit your targets, and the skill level of Hawthorn Football Club in recent weeks, not only just today, has been first class, and that's why they're just putting a lot of pressure on Port Adelaide at the minute.
Well, they need to put some pressure on Shane Crawford too. This quarter he's been unbelievable. 5 inside 50, 16 possessions. He's giving his forwards lace out football at the moment.
Milestone game next week for Jordan Lewis. It'll be game number 50 for him. Pick 7 back in 2004, the same draft that Hawthorn grabbed Roughhead and Franklin in. And they are a contender, the Hawks. It's come a little earlier than some expected, but they are up there in the firing line with the best in the competition. Quick takeaway. Handball out and a free kick.
Just after he disposed him when he...
He's got Hawks pushing forward here, McGlynn.
And he just pops it up, magnificent. Just poked it up and let McGlynn run onto it, and he should go from 15 metres out.
I wouldn't say Mitchell just came out and took that ball. He handballed in flight and he was just incorrectly disposed of here, as we see. Brought him down, just still hanging on to him off the screen there. But smart play, I mean fast play. They're just fast-thinking players at the minute. They get the football and they just look forward, and so many players screaming down the sides to give options.
To put Port Adelaide on the ropes. McGlynn's got 3.
Well, 8 goal kickers for Hawthorn. 8 different goal kickers. Very hard to defend against Glenn when you've kicked a total of 13. At some stage, Port have to man up.
Yep.
Just the counter-attack football from the half-back line. The backs are winning, but the key is they're running the ball through the middle of the ground.
And when you got Tim Boyle, Ben McGlynn and Lance Franklin, they've kicked 8 goals between them, and they're the major forwards down there. They're the focal point, and they're complementing each other well.
Hawk fans who've made the trip, enjoying their afternoon in the sun. And the Hawks out to their biggest lead of the game, 20 points.
This is where they've really got on top since quarter time. Around the centre clearance, to see Hawthorn man on man on the Port players around the middle.
Good news for Hawthorn is, if anything, they're coming home with a slight breeze. Mitchell with another takeaway. Inside 50, Surgeon takes the mark.
Well,
Crawford slipped.
Mitchell only the 4 possessions in the first quarter, Dwayne. Already he's up to 24 now.
That's how bright Hawthorn's prospects are. That fan had to wear shades. Peter Burgoyne. Second spot on the ladder up for grabs. After this game, there's still a couple of games to be played today, but if Hawthorn win this, they'll be up there again.
Here we go.
Kane Corns chased down the tackle. Peter Burgoyne. Kane Corns threw it out in the Cassisi direction. Stolen by Mitchell. Handball to Ellis. Gave it to Gillam. Goes back and gets it. Young caught. White. Taylor threw it. Chad Corns dumped. And we will get a ball up on the wing.
This has been the key, Glenn, to Hawthorn's revival. Their corralling, tackling pressure on the ball carrier has been first class.
Damon White took that mark, played on straight away. We mentioned him before, and he played his teammate into trouble. Hawthorn loved that. If you're going to take us on, we'll take you on. And the pressure that they're applying around the ground is just first class.
DeLuca ties up with Taylor. DeLuca gets the takeaway. Handball to Chad Corns. Kick half smothered Mitchell. Taylor takes them on. Ellis. Bateman.
Gee, the broken tackles as well on the other side of it from Port. Too many missed tackles, broken tackles, allowing the Hawthorn player a free rein through the middle of the ground.
Jacobs found Young. Heads wide, McGlynn. He lost it in the sun.
Must be very low, that sun.
Daniel Pearce hurt in that contest for the ball. He's hyperextended his elbow. From the ball in. McGlynn almost traps it, but a handball out. Cassisi. Chad Corns.
Oh, he's gone.
Ellis shrugged the tackle. Treadray on the wing. He's got a couple to beat. Warren Treadray. Ball fisted down in the Taylor direction. Does well, the big man. Through his legs, though. Kane Corns towards White and Roden. Nice pick up. Roden gives it to White. Peter Burgoyne. Lead comes from Ebert. In his direction, Campbell Brown with him. It's been magnificent, Campbell Brown, this afternoon. Again, having a sensational season. Manhandles Ebert. Crowd not happy. Birchall wide. Crawford's direction. Beaten for it this time by Surgeon. Roden. Options inside 50. White.
Well, they desperately need this shot on goal. With only just under 4 minutes play left in the third quarter. But Campbell Brown, what a 5 weeks. Revolt, Lucas, Pavlich and Ashley Hansen. 4 scalps for a guy 177 centimetres, Glenn.
And you can put Ebert to that thus so far.
Yes, Ebert's he's virtually played on everyone's main goal scorer because Brett Ebert is Port Adelaide's. Kicked 20 goals this season, Brett Ebert. Damon White, all eyes on him, and an important kick missed to the near side. They've lost their last two, Port Adelaide. Now a top spot on the ladder, heading into the Sydney Swans game to the SCG. They've lost top spot. They might be out of the 8 if they're not worried about it now. They certainly will be if they don't get back into this game. 83-64, the ball at half forward.
Well, the important thing is here, there's 3 and a bit minutes left of this third quarter. They can't afford a Hawthorn to kick another goal. They've just got to retain possession, keep it in this forward 50, and then themselves try and pinch a goal here and just reduce the deficit coming in at three-quarter time, because Hawthorn look like they're going to run this right out.
It's the marks inside 50. Hawthorn 5-1 from the ball up. Cassisi. Pearce recovered from that injured elbow.
Good kick.
Yeah.
Spears the pass to Robert Gray.
Just like the way Gray's moved around, Danny. Just you know, his first game hasn't had a lot of it. Done a couple of real good things, but just his ability to read the play around the ground and just finding good space seems a very clever type.
Massive kick for a kid playing in his first game who's never kicked a goal in AFL football. In the shadows of three-quarter time, directly out. And he's missed.
Well, 2 important misses there to Port. They desperately need a goal before three-quarter time. Some of you, Dwayne, I think Hawthorn are definitely going to be kicking with at least a 1 or 2 goal bruise in the last quarter.
Guerra to himself and then to Lewis.
Their kick-outs have been sensational today, Hawthorn.
And they've got the runners on the wing. Smith forced to stop and wait for it. Takes off. Long kick in the Sewell direction. Gets there and takes the mark. Bateman's inside 50. It's in Franklin's area. High kick. Osmond goes the lead. Gives away the free to Symes. Franklin.
Yeah, didn't hear the whistle there, Lance Franklin, his defence. But Hawthorn over the last... You see the free kick there from... Oh, there wasn't a lot of that. He did use his knees, but...
Yeah.
Hawthorn the last 4 weeks have gone from coast to coast 50% of the time in their kick-in, so that's sensational.
Symes. Inside 2 minutes to three-quarter time. Cassisi. Wakeland. And he sends it wide. He's hoping for White. Won't get there. Does get there, but left it behind. It was a tough one. Campbell to Lewis. Back to the midfield. Big fly. Nice grab, Peter Burgoyne. Port Adelaide on the fly now. Pokes it over the top. Bentley from 50. Loads up and misses.
Well, they've had their chances, Port. I mean, just like to see him, you know, attack in these last couple of minutes. In that last bit, they just tried to kill the clock and then found themselves running forward. But 3 points in a row in the last couple of minutes certainly hurt their chances coming into three-quarter time.
They've been able to alter their game plan a few times this year, Hawthorn, and win in different styles. They did it against Geelong in Launceston. They did it against St Kilda. And now they're doing it against Port Adelaide after Port opened up a 21-point lead at quarter time. Short pass left behind by Lewis. Had it knocked back under him. Young, caught by Roden. Tunnels it out.
Gee, that's good play from Gray.
Gray to Surgeon to Pearce. One last chance here for Port Adelaide before three-quarter time. And it's out of bounds on the full. So 3 behinds and an out of bounds on the full. And the crowd are stunned. Guerra. Birchall.
Just this run off the half-back line. It's
Bateman.
just really hurting Port at the moment.
Taylor back to Guerra. Maybe one last chance for a Hawthorn score here. Turnover in the middle. Bentley. Sean Burgoyne. Peter Burgoyne. Wide towards Ebert. Time to set it up.
In the middle there.
Goes central. And
well
just
done,
getting
Lewis.
a fair nail on it, Lewis.
Geez, tough.
Got back into the hole. Gillum. Sewell. Long kick forward and a mark would do Hawthorn right now. 3 seconds. Hodge. Franklin's about to launch at it. Didn't get time. Three-quarter time here at AAMI Stadium. It's been a magnificent game of football to watch. Hawthorn have been spectacular since quarter time. And at three-quarter time here, going with a handy break and maybe have a one-goal breeze in the final term. Hawthorn 13-5-83, Port 9-12-66. 17-point lead to Hawthorn at three-quarter time here at AAMI Stadium. Mark Williams trying to rev his team up, but it's the Hawks with all the answers at the moment. 13-5-83 to Port Adelaide 9-12-66. And they have been sensational since quarter time. Hawthorn, when they trail by 21 points, they've owned the game since then.
Well, I certainly have. Sam Mitchell's led the way. You see 26, only had the 4 in the first quarter, so he's had 22. Jordan Lewis just keeps getting under people's guards. Crawford, as you pointed out, Glenn, he's running in that third quarter was absolutely sensational.
Oh, just great example by the most experienced player out there, and that's what you want from your leaders. But one of the interesting stats I've got at three-quarter time is that Hawthorn have had 18 more handball receives. Now, that might not sound a lot, but that is a lot because how effective they are. As well as the centre breaks is 6-3 in favour of Hawthorn, but their work rate off that half back line, 18 more handball receives, is just, that's what they're doing. They're working harder than Port Adelaide, and that's why they find themselves in front.
Yeah, look, those centre breaks, 13 to Hawthorn, 6 to Port. After about the first 8 minutes, it was 5 Port, 1 Hawthorn. So they've dominated the centre clearances since halfway during the first quarter.
Alistair Clarkson trying to rev his troops up as well. 4th versus 7th on the AFL ladder heading into this game this afternoon. Second spot on the ladder up for grabs to the winner, depending on other results today, of course. And that's the attendance. Over 23,000, and the majority of them stunned after Hawthorn have come from 21 points down at quarter time to lead by 17 at three-quarter time. Lee Colbert.
Damien, the boys are putting plenty of pressure on and hard running. Legs are all important in the last quarter.
Yeah, certainly are. Look, we've got a small breeze to hopefully take advantage of that. But like I said, we've just got to keep running. Can't allow the wind to do the work. For us. So, you know, we just hope we get in there enough times to get a winning score.
And you're the forward-line coach, mate. Benny McGlynn, the smallest centre forward ever to play there.
Yeah, mate, he's been terrific. He just goes in hard and gets the free kicks to warrant his hard work. So he's been good.
Get up there, mate.
Damien Harwick, premiership player with Port Adelaide, now coaching against them.
Well, what a great story, Glenn. Steve Salopek out on the ground. If you need any inspiration to put your head over the ball for if you're a Port player, just have a look at number 3 for Port.
And the three-quarter time huddle, I saw Mark Williams really gee up his players, and fair to say he would have been using Stephen Salopek as an example.
17 points the margin. Campbell and Lade. Jack Corns. Back to Lade. Kane Corns. Tackled by Young. Dispossessed. Surgeon. Salopek. Trying to inspire them. Gives them an inside 50. Treadray flies and marks.
Take a bow, Stephen Salopek. You are an absolute beauty.
If you can't rise from that, I mean, and he wore a bump there, he knew there was oncoming traffic, I mean, sidestepped him, but hit a target. I mean, he'd be conscious of his nose and he's probably his head, but the fact of the matter is he's playing footy, side's trailing, needs to lift them, and Warren Treadray had a good start in the first quarter, been missing the last couple. This will boost his confidence if he can kick this one.
Watch him get around Salopek if Treadray kicks this.
Massive kick for the captain, hasn't kicked one this afternoon. Still hasn't kicked one.
Well, Port have kicked 4 behinds in a row. And scoreboard pressure, especially at home, against a young team like Hawthorn. Turned 4 of those points into majors. They're right in the game, Port, but...
Kicked 3 behinds this afternoon, Warren Treadray. Guerra. Mitchell.
Again, have a look at their kick-outs from full-back. This is just a clinic from full-back for Hawthorn.
Bateman to Jacobs, short to Sewell. Overcommitting was White. Sewell is away. High inside 50, over the back. Chance for Osmond. Needs to get a toe on it. Does, but it hits the post.
Well, certainly affected that breeze out there. I mean, that ball just carried, and a few of the Port players just got caught ball watching. Just had to get involved more.
Jack Corns, Symes, Chad Corns, Peter Burgoyne, Surgeon.
Got Westhoff on if he can find him.
Crowd urging him to get on with it. Symes. Feeds it back to Surgeon. Cairns, Cassisi. They can come to the open side. Lade's on the move. Had the reach. Young got a hand in. Well played. Once again, Salopek trying to inspire them. Pokes the pass back. Surgeon. Inside 50. Has missed Ebert with the kick, but he might get him with the crumb. Sends it around the body towards full forward. High kick. Tough one. Westhoff can't get a jump. Behind.
Well, he missed Pearce, actually, it was Dwayne. Ebert led well, but Pearce was actually on his own in the corridor, 30 metres out. Treadray led and Ebert led, but they both had Hawthorn players on them, so missed opportunity again for Port.
Kick imperfect to Mitchell. 84 plays 68. It's been a tough, tight contest.
This is the first time Port have been able to hold Hawthorn up from a kick-in.
McGlynn.
So it's half a win here for Port.
Having an outstanding season, Ben McGlynn. Possession number 13 coming up for him this afternoon. Hodge, boundary line, pursued, harassed. Well played Pearce. Well played Hodge. Caught but got the handle inboard. Young. Mitchell. Campbell lurking, can't get there. Neither can Franklin. And the ball out of play. We'll get a ball in inside 50 for Hawthorn.
Just all important when you've got to take your chances, but Chad Cords very rarely fumbles, but he just had to pick that ball up first hands on it.
But Luke Hodges just limping in the middle of the ground here, feeling his left hamstring. We see the runner and the trainer go out to Luke Hodge.
Laid to Symes, runs back into traffic. Franklin a hand on the handball. Peter Burgoyne to Loney. Play on advantage. All the Hawks have stopped this time, and Port Adelaide because of it, 3 men. Wakeland, Loney, wire kick.
Good play, Sewell.
Sewell too good for Sean Burgoyne. Takes him on. Sean Burgoyne the tackle. Second effort magnificent. Westhoff. And the short pass to Salopek.
Well, he's had a great start to this last quarter. 3 possessions already for Steve Salopek.
That's bad news for Hawthorn if Hodge's hamstring sore. Big fly by Gillum. Missed it. Westhoff pokes it inside 50. Ebert! He's left it behind. Can't get back to Crummett. Now he can to make amends. Dumped. Crowd want a free, don't get it. Campbell Brown to Taylor. And he sends it to Crawford, who can run. He can gallop and bounce. He can have a second.
For Franklin one-on-one.
Spears it to Franklin. Magnificent Shane Crawford. The Crawford of old.
Well, just taking your chances. And that run from that half-back line, we talked about 18 handball receives, the difference at half, three-quarter time. But, I mean, Ebert, the way he just got up, he was just unlucky. Could have possibly got one over the head there. They've paid them before.
It was the referred pressure of Campbell Brown's good forward. Ebert expected a hit.
Franklin bends it back. He's got 3, and that hurts. You're going to love him.
Well, again, the turnover, the missed mark from Ebert. Hawthorn on the counter-attack today have just been superb. Their ball used from the back. But this guy in particular, Shane Crawford, he's run through the middle of the ground. He's had 6 inside 50s, 8 handball receives. But it's just been copybook. Lance Franklin leads, and he knows he's going to get the ball because Crawford, 3 times today, has just put it on a plate for Lance Franklin. But more importantly, again, Hawthorn have had 3 goal kickers kick 3 goals.
Three-goal 2 afternoon for Lance Franklin. Picked 5 back in 2004's draft behind Deledio, Roughhead, Griffin and Tambling. And he certainly would have went earlier if not for one bad game in the under-18 championships. Taylor rips it out of the air, sends it long, off hands, back of the pack, Hodge!
On one leg, Luke Hodge.
And they're just about home.
Well, he's on one leg, Jacko.
Yeah.
We saw him about 2 minutes ago just grab his hammy.
It's amazing what good fortunes football can, bring down here, because you just got to take your chances, and they've had their chances, 5 straight points, and had an opportunity with Ebert, Port Adelaide, but Hawthorn have gone inside their 50 twice in this quarter and scored both times. But as you said, I think he's grabbed his hamstring there.
Second goal of the afternoon for Luke Hodge. Let's hope his hamstring not too bad. He's played every game the last couple of seasons. Hasn't missed a game since he was actually suspended by Hawthorn for missing a training session after his 21st. So hopefully not an injury to bring him down. Pearce pokes it to Treadray. Nice hands.
Well,
back in the hole. Campbell Brown.
Well, Ebert lit up the ground, and Brown thought, well, you've let out wide. They're not going to kick the ball to you. That's a lot of courage there from Brown.
Taylor to Smith.
The hard running by McGlynn here.
McGlynn on the end of it. If it sits, it does.
He was on the half-back line when Campbell Brown marked that ball, and look where he's marking the ball now. I mean, he was down in this contest. That's about 120 metres he's ran with the space of 2 possessions. I mean, he is playing some good footy at the minute.
To the pocket to Hodge. A bit wide for him. And it's just hit the paint. It's a ball in.
I think Luke Hodge was saying, well, I led wide there. You just see Campbell Brown. What a great vertical leap. He's got a lot of power through those chunky thighs of his.
And as you said, had some big jobs this year and has completed them all. Sean Burgoyne, Kane Collins, Nathan Loney.
I don't think his thighs are bigger than yours, Spuds.
That's impossible.
Ebert. Time ticking away for Port Adelaide and their fans here. Robert Gray. Ball thumped clear by Campbell Brown. You won't get any concessions from Campbell Brown for being a first gamer. From the ball in. Blade, front spot, held. It was a short throw in. And he was favoured by it. 96 plays 68. Wakeland. Pettigrew. Treadray calls for it long. Pettigrew takes them on. Has a second bounce. Pokes it to Roden.
Well, a good run from the back from there. They've got to take the game on, Port, and they've got to take some risks. So that's great play there from Pettigrew.
Well, a lot better than what they were doing before in that latter part of that third quarter, when they were, kicking the ball backwards, sideways, and allowing Hawthorn to, flood back. This way, they just attack the ball, and they've got to do it now. They realise the predicament where the game is at the minute.
Talked about Port's poor accuracy. Roden has kicked 12 goals, 1 this year. 2 goals straight last week. And if the most accurate kick in the team can't scrape it in other than out of bounds in the full, you're in trouble.
It's all about put the mods on him like as soon as you said that, I thought he's no chance.
Being positive for him.
I know, but you say it after he kicks the goal.
Right, okay. I'll learn from that, as we say. The kick in. Mitchell. It's got 4 to beat here, Mitchell. Sewell takes it out. That's a win for Hawthorn. We've played 10 minutes, final term. 96 plays, 68. Mitchell, the number 1 in the top 5 disposal getters. Chad Corns, another good game. And we'll get a secondary ball up. Last 4 times these two teams have met have been Port Adelaide victories, and not one Brownlow vote to any Hawthorn player in those 4 games. Port Adelaide by 96 points and 117 points the last 2. And then by 81 and another big margin. The further you go back, the worse it looks. Lewis caught and didn't get a clean handball away.
Well, he's going to have to go sideways here because he's looked forward. There's just Hawthorn players in there forward 50.
Chad Corns spears the kick. Roden. Ball thumped clear by Guerra. Back to Chad Corns. Smith dances through beautifully. Run down. We've got the handball to McGlynn. Pick up, sensational. They can just about seal it here. Young inside 50. The lead from Boyle. And he can shut the door.
That's knowing your teammates' strengths. Clinton Young, a left footer. Boyle was aware of that, so he knew that Young was going to turn on his left, as we see here. Put the ball to space, and voila, there's Boyle.
Good forward structure, Hawthorn. In particular today, if they're coming down one side of the ground, they're leaving the opposite side of the forward line open for these players to lead into. And, I mean, Doyle's been fantastic in finding that space, as well as Franklin and Glynn as well.
Brings it back a little. Tim Boyle's got 4, and the Hawks have 4 points.
Well, what a great effort from Hawthorn. You'd think something miraculous would have to happen now. We see Campbell Brown coming off the ground, Gillum on.
Look at his pace. I mean, that's Hawthorn all over. Just their team effort.
But he's a great story, Tim Ball.
Yeah.
And couple of the fact, Dwayne, that Ladson and Crode, late withdrawals before the game.
Yeah.
Young and experienced team. So, it's not our day today. We're playing interstate, but they've really come to play, especially after the first 10-minute onslaught from Port.
So Campbell Brown off. Here's Crode and Ladson, late withdrawals this afternoon. Xavier Ellis and Jared Roughhead came in. No captain this afternoon. Richie Vandenberg might not even play another game this season after injuring his shoulder at Box Hill yesterday. And Mark Williams, their old #1 full forward, not playing either. So it's been a very, very good performance against the odds for the Hawks away from home at a ground they struggled at against Port Adelaide. Chance Bateman, their captain last week, getting a rub. And the ball up. Loney. And the umpire will sort it out again.
Now it's a free kick here to Port.
Okay.
Thought Lewis dragged the ball in, didn't get the ball out from the stoppage, so Sean Burgoyne will get the resultant free kick. Again, Hawthorn have got numbers behind the ball.
Kick inside 50, just hoping. Joel Smith got a fist on it. Jacobs. Guerra. Into trouble. Robert Gray takes him out. And the boundary line was his sanctuary. No holding the ball decision there. Occasionally when you backtrack across the line to get away from a tackle, they ping you.
It's a good example
tackle.
of tackling. Tackle the hips, didn't watch the ball, watch his hips.
Gray again, fighting on the first gamer. Can't break free. Converged upon, and will get a ball up.
And that'll be something Mark Williams will look at. That tackle compared to a lot of missed tackles today from the Port players.
Robert Gray's parents, his mum and dad, have come over from Victoria to watch his first game of AFL football this afternoon. And his 2 sisters have come over for the journey as well. I'll see a loss. Roden. Kick off the side. The other first game of Westhoff.
He got the kick.
And he got a push in the back.
He got the kick there, but I mentioned it before. He's just got to get. He's a likely lad, very tall, 199 centimetres, but he's just got to get a lot stronger in his body to hold his ground.
Quickly to Kane Corns. And Kane Corns takes the mark.
He'll get stronger. He's only a boy.
Yep.
He's like a good wine from the Barossa, Glenn. He'll mature with age.
And both Justin Westhoff's parents are here as well to watch his first game. As I said, his 2 brothers, both at Central Districts as well. One in the seniors and one pretty good likely prospect in the juniors. As Kane Corns misses, it's been all misses for Port Adelaide since half-time. 9-15 to 16-6.
Well, they've kicked 6 points in a row, and you think about where the game's won and lost. I think Hawthorn, to their credit, they've played the better football. They've had 25 less possessions, Hawthorn, and they've gone inside their forward 50 3 more times. So that's great attacking play from the Hawks.
And 2 less scoring shots as well.
Smith back to Guerra. They know they've got it now, Hawks. They're just chipping it around amongst themselves, taking some more time off the clock. And it's been a very, very impressive performance by the Hawks this afternoon. Hodge, hold it up, boys, he says.
Well, now Port, seriously, there's still 9 minutes left. They just have to play one-on-one football now, Port.
Guerra. Chance Bateman.
No, Mark Williams won't be too happy with this. This has been about a minute and a half of play, yet we've still got 3 Hawthorn players.
Lade. Roden. Quick dish off. Bentley. High fly. And a free kick to Hawthorn. Play on advantage.
Good courage there from Clinton Young. Ball one for his team.
Osborne. Symes dives in to Ebert. Handball smothered. Tries to hold it in with a tackle. Peter Burgoyne, Bentley, Loney, Kane Corns, Peter Burgoyne, wide. White. Ball bounced unkindly for him. Robert Campbell, almost. White slaps it out. Robert Gray, inside 50 towards Westhoff, makes the contest but gives away the free.
Well, great courage from Campbell Brown, and it was good play from young Westhoff because he knew that Campbell Brown was going to mark the ball. We see that previous incident there with Clinton Young and Westhoff. You got to admire young Westhoff. He runs straight at the ball. We see him here with Campbell Brown again.
And we saw in his second contest today when he backed back in the pack in that deep pocket over there, and he wore a nice one for his first game. So he likes the physical side of things. So as he gets a bit of meat on his body and matures a bit better, he's going to be a very good player.
Birchall, who Hawthorn got with the pick they received from Port Adelaide when they traded Nathan Loney to Port. Has been a good pickup, Grant Birchall.
Excellent running halfback, Birchall.
Campbell Brown. Got it from Gillum, of course, who didn't get traded by Port Adelaide, was just delisted by them and went back to Victoria, and Hawthorn decided to pick him up.
Well, it's a great story, Dwayne, because he's ended up on the rookie list at Port and then was put on the rookie list at Hawthorn last year, playing the last 4 games, and they won those games, Hawthorn, so he might be their lucky charm, Steve Gillum.
Virtually playing in Zach Dawson's old spot, so it's going to be tough to see Zach get it back in the near future. 102-69, and we've played almost 20 minutes into this final term. Umpires found something as we go down to Lee Colbert.
Clinton Young's come off with, he's actually just a little bit winded. He'll be okay. Luke Hodge also in the hands of the physios, getting some work on his hamstring. So the boys, they're down to no one on the bench for the Hawks.
Birchall to Franklin. Little tap on. Not sure if it was meant to be a tap on or a fumble, but he missed it regardless. Guerra up against the boundary, keeps it alive to Jacobs. No one to go to, walked it over. 102-69. 6 minutes from full time. The Hawks have come of age this year. From the ball in. Crawford down. Osborne. Left it behind. Loney. Westhoff. Loney. Jacobs. Sewell. What a season he's having again. Campbell Brown. Crawford back to Brown. And now Xavier Ellis in just game number 6 for him. Emergency, late inclusion today for the Hawks. Pokes the pass to one of the men we were just speaking about, Grant Birchall. Wrapped up by Ebert. No prior opportunity. Crowd not happy. Brett Ebert not happy either.
Yeah, a little bit stiff there, Brett Ebert. I thought Birchall had enough time to take him on. You see him.
He took possession of it.
Well, he's turned around, which said, well, you're coming. I'm going to take you on. So
had plenty of time in slow motion.
He did in the end.
From the ball up. And a free kick against DeLuca. It'll go to Taylor. So 3 losses in a row now for Port Adelaide after being top of the ladder. And the Hawks are now second spot with 2 games to be played. Franklin on the end of another magnificent pass.
But Danny, we've been speaking about that all day. When Port go in their forward 50, I mean, Hawthorn had the ability to get their players back, and that's through hard work. But just the space that Buddy Franklin's been able to lead into, and Doyle as well, I mean, it's just been enormous.
It's got 3. Franklin lines them up and hits the woodwork. He's not happy.
Well, that's been the difference. They've been disciplined. They've held their structure, Hawthorn. They've held their structure, and the midfielders look up. They've always got someone to go to. On the other side of the coin, Port have had the ball at times. Have looked up, and Port haven't been able to get their structure. Treadray's probably been off the ground the last quarter and a half. But I think the real positive out of this game is Alistair Clarkson will be wrapped, because Port really came at Hawthorn the first 15 minutes.
That's the thing.
Put a lot of pressure on them. Then they absorb that pressure and say, OK, boys, we'll dish a bit back and we'll take you on. That's a great effort for a young team.
Yes, if you joined us late, Port Adelaide led by 21 points at quarter time, and they owned the first term. It's been all Hawthorn since then. Diving effort by White, too wide.
Well, he's annoyed there, Daniel Pearson himself. He's a beautiful kick of the football, and I mean, their skill error today is cost them at crucial times, and the game is sunk now. But you want your ace players still hitting targets.
Port Adelaide kicked 5 goals in the opening term. They've kicked 4 since.
From the back.
Ben McGlynn's ball.
Well, you've just got to learn from that as a defender now.
I think he's trying to absorb the the hands are there.
I know I harp on it, Dwayne, but you've got to use your forearm or even your fist, a clenched fist, because as soon as I see the open hand on a back.
Yep. Yes, there's been some coaches who've been outspoken. There's been players who've been outspoken about it. Mick Malthouse in the Australian wrote an article about how bad the rule is, and then followed it up with the one that said, "I told you so." Paul Roos complained this week. It's going to be a talking point at the end of the season. There's no doubt at all.
Well, the anomaly of it all, Dwayne, the NAB pre-season series is normally the vehicle to trial new rules and free kicks. They didn't trial it at all. That's the mistake they've made. Just to have a look and see what it's like under pressure in pre-season games.
And they haven't listened to the people who count as well, and that is the players and the coaches. They didn't listen to either party. Symes, Loney, the inspirational Salopek. Back to the ex-Hawk Loney. Bentley. And all the way back to Loney again.
Stagnant forward line, Port, and this is where they get bottled up. They get bottlenecked here across the top of the half forward line, and it allows Hawthorn to just push their numbers back. Now this kick is going to be up and under, and it just invites the defenders to do what they want.
Thurstons, to the boos of both Port Adelaide and Hawthorn's fans that are here today. Kane Corns, long to Westhoff. It's a jump at it, and a push, and 50.
Yeah, it was always there. A little bit undisciplined there from Sammy Mitchell. Played a fantastic game, Sammy Mitchell, 34 disposals. I think this is the positive out of the Port game, though.
Yeah,
Jugger.
Kiddies.
Young Westhoff and Gray's form. 2 shining lights. 2 youngsters playing their first game.
Well, I think they've shown an example to some of their senior players about just intensity of the football.
And this young fella's going to finish with 3 goals. Not a bad effort on to boot.
Little consolation prize, a 3-goal debut for Justin Westhoff.
Yeah, it is a consolation prize. We see the young fella jump early.
Yeah,
Look, there wasn't a lot in it, but it was definitely there.
Well, senior player. I mean, Sam Mitchell's had a good day today, but Alistair Clarkson will tell him, he'll rib him after the game saying, look, we don't need to do that because I know we got the game won, but you just don't need to allow the opposition a free shot at it.
Well, percentage late in the year.
That's it.
It all adds up at the end after round 22.
Picked 71 in last year's draft. Justin Westhoff, first season on the list. 20-year-old player from Central Districts. And he'll get a game next week, you would think. From the ball up. DeLuca lays a tackle. Pearce is with him.
The clearance work, I know Todd Viney there, he's the assistant coach in the midfield. He does a hell of a lot of work in the midfield there. They've really been tremendous in the last 3.5 quarters in the middle of the ground.
Look how open this forward line is.
Franklin tried to steal it. Pettigrew. Salopek. Lead comes from Westhoff. It's shorter. It's for the other first gamer, Robert Gray. He's been okay as well.
No.
From Oakley in the under-18 competition. Pokes it back.
Very good debut, Dwayne. 13 possessions, 6 contested possessions, more importantly, 4 marks.
And he was taken earlier than Westhoff. He was picked 55 in last year's draft, Robert Gray. Roden.
The beauty about the 2 boys, they can win their own ball, which is terrific. And they're competitors.
Now, this is just going to be the high football that's going to come up. It's looking for something small here. Outnumbered 2-1.
Kane Corns, blinded by the sun. Crawford with him. Mitchell
Vision.
over the top. Jared Roughhead, who played yesterday, kicked 4 goals for Box Hill, finds Franklin. He can stroll in or he can pass to Boyle.
Well, it's just copybook football. We've seen this all day. Port hold the ball up, slow, stagnant, slow football. The ball turns over. What happens? Hawthorn get the ball, quick counter-attack through the middle of the ground, hit a leading forward that maintain their structure. We see the turnover here. Great play from Crawford. Low and hard. Sammy Mitchell, great vision. And, of course, Boyle, he's been a live wire all day.
Trying to milk that there.
This, no doubt, will be a PB if he kicks this.
To make it 5 for his afternoon. Absolutely no doubt. And he squeezes it in. 5 goals for Tim Boyle.
Well, we've spoken about it all afternoon, just their ability to run off that half-back line, but just forcing Port Adelaide into the turnover. They just get the numbers back, and Port Adelaide looking for that short 15-20 metre kick at the top of the 50-metre arc, and that's where they've been building their attacks from, and their ability, their pace, they just want to take them on. Buddy Franklin took that mark, turned and kicked it to Boyle.
Well, you're right. They kick long, but it's 45 metres out from goal. Why don't you kick it long to a contest about 10 metres out from goal? At least you can defend that.
Yeah.
Just the 2 games last year and no goals, Tim Boyle. And he's now kicked 23 this year and 5 this afternoon after a 3-goal performance last week. From the ball up. 25 seconds from time.
At the top of the screen, they're just peeling up in numbers. There's only 30 seconds left in this game, but their run. Now look, Luke Hodge, he had a sore hamstring a minute ago, and he's going to get it.
Lewis.
Well, you're right, Glenn. The running power of Hawthorn is superb. Young legs.
He was on that outer wing and just corralled around the back of the 50, kept eyes on the flight of the play, and just presented.
To make it a 40-point victory to the Hawks. He's nailed it. Icing on the cake.
No, just short.
It's touched on the line. It's no score. But a magnificent victory regardless. Hawthorn 21 points down at quarter time. Have been able to overshadow the home team and grab themselves a little spot on the ladder that might be taken from them with 2 more games to be played later this afternoon. But second spot, theirs right now, and they are a contender. 17-7, 109 Hawthorn, Port Adelaide, 10-15, 75. They're a happy team at Hawthorn, and one of the team is with Lee Colwyn.
Benny, sensational, mate. How easy is this AFL footy?
It's awesome, mate, at the moment. Just good to be winning, and obviously coming over here was a hard task, but the boys got up. It's a good win.
And a Wentworth boy, you've come the long way about AFL footy, but 3 goals today and playing at centre forward, that's a bit different, isn't it?
Nah, it's playing half forward and a bit on the wing, but yeah, 3 goals is good, so it's good to get forward and kick a few, but yeah, obviously made it the hard way, and it's always rewarding in the end to be here.
You've certainly been an inspiration to a lot of youngsters, and to get an opportunity. It must be great playing in this young Hawthorn side.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting at the moment. Obviously, pretty good position at the moment. We're 7-4, I think it is, so we're doing real well, so it's good.
And I measured you up last week with Shane Crawford. You're just a little bit taller, is that right?
Yeah, I'll spike the hair up just to get him by a couple of centimetres, but I think he's got me covered.
Good man, go and enjoy it.
Thanks, Luke.
Just 4 goals in his debut season last year, elevated from the rookie list. A man taken pick 126 in the draft, and he's now the #1 Hawk for score assists this year, and second in the AFL for inside 50 entries.
Well, not only that, as you said, his ability and his ball use, his decision-making, Dwayne, that's the thing that I like about him. He's just a great decision-maker, and it's just a perfect example for anyone out there watching the game that you can play all types in AFL football. You don't have to be a certain type. He is just a footballer, and I think that's the beauty about Hawthorn's win today. They were tested nice and early with their physicality. Taylor and Campbell really come back into it. Jacko, Lade was terrific, but the on-ballers, led by Sammy Mitchell with 35 possessions, was absolutely sensational.
Just the even work rate of this Hawthorn team, and they're not surprised why they're in the top 4, but so is a lot of other teams.
So a victory for Hawthorn by 34 points, 10-15-75 to the Hawks, 17-7, 109.